Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yao Mean of Revolution. It's Charlie Kirk, a civil rights saint, or is he a slick talking racist sinner? Before we get into that, be sure to wipe your feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Well, it's the main topic in the world today. Charlie Kirk. Is he the new Dr. King? Huh? Y'all let me know. Let's get into the content. Salute, family.
If you're not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now, along with the bell icon, so you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. And if you're already subscribed, check and make sure the YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you. And of course, be sure to give the video a like, as well as share it on your social media. The white supremacists hate that. And now, the Sunday address. The DNC shills are constantly lecturing the black public in general and the black media in specific, telling everyone that the Democrats are the only resistance to the creeping fascism of the white right. Isn't that their favorite word? It's been their favorite word since 2015. We're the resistance. We're the resistance. Well, let's see how well the resistance is going. Oh, what a surprise. In the House of Representatives, there was a vote to, quote unquote, honor Charlie Kirk, the racist, for, well, I'm not sure, I guess for being a white male who said...
Now, this is absolutely disgusting. When I seen this, I said, Malcolm. Long live Malcolm X. He told us about the white liberals. He told us you got to watch them. What they do, they stab us right in our back. Don't let them tell you about MAGA or Trump or nobody else. I tell you, they racist big as they goddamn self, but they mask it. And they get all the perks out of white America being dominant and ruling. And they pretend like they're your friend. And those damn bigoted hypocrites in the Democratic Party that decide to honor Charlie Kirk like he Dr. King. They didn't. But that's why I tell you. Do you think Joe Biden gave a shit about Dr. King? Hell no, that was a hustle. Now they letting their true colors show. Why? They want all the little kids to listen to Charlie. That's what they want the kids to do. Then they come scam us. But they want Charlie King to have his own day like Dr. King. And the Democrats go right along with it.
Said racist stuff that delighted the likes of racists like Mike Johnson and his ilk. Roads are crumbling, bridges are literally falling apart if you drive over them. The cost of groceries is as high as the cost of tuition. People can't afford rent, much less buy a house. But this is what the House of Representatives chose to waste its time on. And the measure passed. Why was there not an effort by Democrats to block it or stall it or whatever?
Oh,
not only did Democrats...
When it comes to speaking on immigrants and all that shit, Cory Booker and the rest of them niggas will talk for, they break the record, 24 hours of bootlicking and shoe shining on the House floor. But when it's coming to standing up for the, because this is about the legacy of Dr. King. If Charlie Kirk has a day of his own, Dr. King's legacy is finished. If they can say he is in the ilk, this is how quick with the vote and a swift measurement, writing of the electoral pen in Congress, Charlie Kirk now, he will get honored every 14th of October. He gonna get street signs. Next, statues on the Capitol lawn will be erected to Charlie. That's a fact. All that's going up. And the racist bastards in the Democratic Party, them the racists I'm talking about, they going right along with it because they're part of the dominant society. They never gave a shit about white people getting more power, white people saying they die. They just sat back pretending like they didn't want to hear that type of shit as they sat in power as the whites on the Democratic side. Now they show they two fucking colors.
Democrats not try to stall or block this. They actually voted for it. 95 Democrats voted to honor a racist who was totally dishonorable. Not surprisingly, the Democratic House...
I don't want to hear shit about Donald Trump as racist and big. We tell people, I tell y'all, everybody got bigger than them. I tell y'all this, you can't be, the Democrats showing their colors. I knew it. I knew it. So not only y'all biggest like some of MAGA, but y'all also want to transition our children. See, we don't like that. So you're a bigot just like MAGA. That set y'all off. All right. But you're the biggest who trying to transition our kids. Damn. You are the biggest who won't let these immigrants into this goddamn country and to absolutely replace us. The Republican biggest just the ones that hire them. You see? See, the black party, the people in black Democratic blacks, they should feel real ashamed of themselves. They should feel all dirty and used and manipulated. Because the whole time they've been fooled, talking about Trump, MAGA. Their Democratic leaders just voted for the young MAGA, the next leader of the Republican Party, who has the hearts and minds of the youth. You see, the Democratic racists, they like their kids listen to a bigotry, and they wanted their kids, like Governor Newsom, say Charlie is a hero to his son. Charlie is a bigot, Governor. What are you saying?
House Leader Hakeem Jeffries voted for this pathetic measure, and he wasn't alone. Jamie Raskin voted for it.
Hakeem Jeffries, the head black coon and shoe shiner and bootlicker in Congress, he voted for this, bro. He voted for this. Didn't have the guts. Do they know they could never bring up See, that's what happened with the Boule. They know the Dr. King civil rights scam is up. They're not gonna be able to use that with us no more. You see, the nonviolent. They said, fuck it, it's over anyway. We might want to say Charlie the next. They just went along with it. Charlie Kirk is Dr. King. He the white Dr. King now, who get his own day. And these blacks went right along with it. They might want, if we say, hey, do Trump deserve to have his own day? Then they go, oh, no, he's MAGA. What the fuck do you think Charlie Kirk was? If we tell those same Democrats, sure, we honor Trump with a day every year, they say, oh, hell no, because they trapped into their Trump syndrome of hate. But they just gave the young, youthful Trump his own day.
Pete Aguilar and Ted Lieu, both congressmen from California, voted for it. So another example of liberal California in action. In fact, a lot of Hispanic and Asian congresspeople voted for this measure. And Sarah McBride voted to honor the racist Charlie Kirk. For those of you who don't know, Sarah McBride is the transgender congressperson who the white media made much hay out of being elected. Charlie Kirk excoriated transgender people. Yet the transgender congressperson voted to honor him. Just another demonstration that these white liberals are not confused. They understand their position in the world is not tied to their religion, nor to their alleged education, or their gender or sexual orientation. Identity politics is not what gets them their place in the world, except for their identity as being classified white. They know exactly what side their bread's buttered on. Now,
they honoring whiteness, bro. That's disgusting that those Democrats they can get away with. And for the Boule who did that, they just want to stay in power by not pissing off the white man, bro. That's a fact. A lot of them know, hey, nigga, you piss off the white man. Jeffries, he's scared to death. He thinking they might snipe him. He's no Dr. King. Dr. King didn't shut up. They threatened that man every goddamn day of his life. Every day, nigga, we'll kill you, nigga. We'll tell our world you sleep with all these women. Man said the hell with you. Him and Malcolm. We got it on tape. Him and Malcolm telling people the hell with you. That's why they killed him. Malcolm then went to hell with you. FBI and killers, not Jeffries. They tell him that. He's like, I'm on Charlie Kirk. What?
Hakeem Jeffries, in case you forgot, he is the nephew of Dr. Leonard Jeffries, a black academic who, by the way, was
he killed no doctor. Every time somebody say that, Leonard Jeffries, I say, oh man, shut up. Dr. Jeffries is ashamed of this nigga. You better believe he's not proud of his nephew. Where did he think of him like, where did you go wrong? You used his name as a soul brother until it was time for the Boule to come out of you.
Excoriated back in the 90s as being an anti-Semite. Just keep that in mind. Hakeem Jeffries has bent over backwards and twisted his forked tongue in knots to stick up for Zionists who tried to destroy and do everything they could to wreck his own uncle, his own blood relative. It just goes to show that you can be related to someone with a good reputation but still break bad. Hakeem Jeffries' district surely wouldn't approve of this crap. So he's not doing it because he's scared that he's going to lose votes if he doesn't honor Charlie Kirk. He's doing it because he's terrified he will lose donor dollars, because the donors are the ones who like Charlie Kirk. They like the white supremacist crap that he would spout. There's a reason Hakeem Jeffries was selected to take Nancy Pelosi's place as Democratic House leader, and now you're seeing why. The white powers that be didn't choose him because they thought that he would fight Trump or that he would fight the fascists. They chose him because they wanted someone who would fight you and me. That's his job, to fight us. So this legislation passed the House smoothly with no opposition. The so-called leader of the Democrats voted for it and didn't say boo, and Democrats had no problem uniting behind it, 95 of them at least. These are the same Democrats who during both the Biden and Obama administrations just couldn't get anything done for black people. They could never solidify the votes on anything pertaining to black people except for the Juneteenth holiday, which, as we told you, was just lazy lawmakers voting to give themselves another paid day off work. A lot of y'all didn't get it. Maybe some of you might get it now. All of a sudden, though, they figured out how to solidify their votes for Charlie Kirk, a man who excoriated them, demonized them, attacked them, and said, don't vote for the Democrats. And just to show that this wasn't some fluke, the United States Senate unanimously passed a resolution designating October 14th, 2025 as a National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. The key word there being unanimously. That means all the Democrats went for that crap too. That means Cory Booker voted that the nation needs to remember Charlie Kirk. Raphael Warnock voted that the nation needs to pause and remember Charlie Kirk. Those two black female senators that the white media and the black feminists were celebrating, Lisa Rochester, she voted to remember Charlie Kirk. And Angela Also Brooks, she also voted to remember Charlie Kirk too. Bernie Sanders voted for it. Adam Schiff voted for it. Chuck Schumer voted for it. Elizabeth Warren voted for it. John Ossoff voted for it. All of these people who claim to be so concerned about Black lives, remember that crap? Well, now they're showing you the only thing they're actually concerned about. The Democrats unanimously supported honoring a racist whose words and deeds had no honor. I guess this is more of that resistance that these DNC shills have told us so much about, right? The House only had a few dissenters. The Senate had none. As Dr. Noam Chomsky said, it's the most sophisticated form of propaganda when someone presents themselves as opposition when in reality they're actually support. You know, it's interesting how times like this, those DNC shills and their sock puppet accounts and their bots and others, they always go quiet times like this. And for some of you people who went along with the get along, you hard-headed fools, you're going to realize you were wrong and that we told you this. We have no friends. For all you DNC shills out there, remind me again why you want us to vote for the Democrats. Because they're going to do what again? All you clowns saying, you black media, y'all just a bunch of GOP cheerleaders. Well, obviously, we don't love the GOP as much as the Democrats do. We don't love the GOP as much as Hakeem Jeffries does. We don't love the GOP as much as Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders do. But of course, the shills are being real quiet right now because the Democrats are being put to the test and failing with lying colors. I didn't say flying, I said lying colors. By the way, there's one last point. October 14th is a very interesting date because you want to know who else's birthday was on October 14th? George Floyd.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, the open backhand and disrespect. And, you know, we went with the Black Lives Matter stuff, but the open disrespecting this man, they was dragging this man. Now Charlie Kirk is getting his karma. You see what they're doing? Because, see, the Democrats trying to get back in office, they use George Floyd. They lionized that man motherfucking name to get votes and things of that nature. When I told you it was a far better case was the young man in Georgia who was tracked down while he was jogging and beat and lynched. He wasn't on no drugs. The story, but see, they didn't want that. They don't want no good story. They knew. See, these people knew what they was doing. The whites didn't want to use it, but they didn't want to laugh because they say they were say, "Oh, blacks will fall for anything. We'll make anything their idol." Now they're forcing Charlie Kirk on the people, and the black people in Congress are going along with it. Al Sharpton going along with it. These people are scammers, man. Now they getting threatened behind the scene. They don't got no balls, but they are feeding the animal. You can't give these racist bigots everything they want so easily. They're going to want more. And our life will be in danger over this type of bullshit. That's a fact. Especially when you get the whites who are supposed to be their allies, they're behind them. Now they closing in on them. They down with the racists and MAGA the whole time. They've been running a scam on the Democrats. Now they're brothers in arms. Let's celebrate Charlie Kirk.
Isn't that something? It's perversely ironic that Charlie Kirk, an inveterate racist who lied about George Floyd and mocked his murder, also has the same birthday. Perhaps that's the reason that Charlie Kirk was ready to bend over backwards and jump out a window to attack George Floyd and lie about him every chance he got. And also, you DNC shills who are laying low right now, please remind all of us, what did the Democrats do to honor George Floyd? After all, his birthday was on October 14th. Joe Biden made some loose talk about a George Floyd Policing Act. That's all the Democrats did, some loose and insincere chatter about that, which they never passed because they never intended to. It was always just meant as some empty rhetoric for them to go ahead and get those angry people who are outraged about George Floyd's murder to pipe down and don't worry, we're going to do something, when in fact all they were trying to do was to run out the clock. They were waiting to see if people would forget about it so they could move on. That's what their plan was from the very beginning. Do you see the Democrats deciding, you know what, we need to honor George Floyd like we should honor all of the victims of police murder? They didn't do that. So the Senate has now declared the birthday of George Floyd to be the day of remembrance for a mouth-frothing, knuckle-dragging, drool-on-his-shoes racist Charlie Kirk.
Look what they did.
And every single Democrat in the Senate voted in favor of it, too.
Look what they did. They showing y'all who got the real power. Okay, we'll take George Floyd's birthday, and we'll make this Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. Nigga, you gonna remember the racist bigot who mocked George Floyd. And the fucking boule went along with it and didn't say a mumbling word. When they pushed the George Floyd shit to an amazing level. That's what's so crazy. You pushed his name out there. Now the whites gonna come back and humiliate his name worldwide, and they just sit back. More shame for us as a people. That's disgusting, bro.
The same Democrats who couldn't do anything for black people, they could get all on code to venerate a putrid racist. I really hope all these DNC shills and maggots who have infested my comment section will go ahead and tell us all how important it is for us to back the Democrats because they're going to stand up to the Republicans. They're the resistance. Where the hell's the resistance at? They're collaborating. All the people who keep popping up in our comment sections, copying and pasting the DNC talking points that the black media is just a bunch of Republican tools. No, stupid. This is what Republican tools look like. The black media has never praised or applauded Charlie Kirk on anything. Democrats have. And they've voted repeatedly to honor someone who was totally dishonorable. Charlie Kirk wasn't grassroots. He was pure astroturf. He was an invention of wealthy right-wing billionaire donors. I laid out in last Thursday's morning briefing that every right-wing blowhard you ever heard of, from Ben Shapiro to Barry Weiss to Breitbart to Charlie Kirk, were all chosen and funded by wealthy benefactors who had the money to send them around the country on jets, first class, to pick up a phone and instantly get them time on any network and get them places on any university campus, get them put on Fox News, go ahead and spread their gibberish far and wide. The wealthy have invented entire infrastructures to promote their chosen shills and tools, of which Charlie Kirk was just one. White power invented this guy. He didn't build anything. It was handed to him because that's what white privilege is. White privilege requires that things be handed to you. Charlie Kirk never finished anything in his life. He couldn't even finish college. A mediocre community college, he had to drop out. Only under white supremacy can a halfway literate college dropout call himself running around to university campuses trying to act like he's smart. And you'll actually have people on the left corner of the white media who will be sitting here lauding this guy and talking about him as if he was so studied and just so intelligent. So to talk about honoring him for his alleged accomplishments, that's a joke and a lie. You might as well invite the one remaining Koch brother and Bill Ackerman to speak, because they were far more responsible for Charlie Kirk's accomplishments than Charlie Kirk was. But as usual, the Democrats have no problem solidifying their votes and getting on board to get legislation passed just so long as it doesn't pertain to black people. Now, the entire reason that I made this the subject of this Sunday address is to ask you one question. Is this the so-called resistance that these shills and bots and suck-ups and sock puppets for the DNC have been promising us all these years? When they've been calling themselves finger-wagging at the black media and lying about us and calling us Russian bots like Joke Reed did, when these people sit here and say, these guys, they're on board with the Republicans, is this supposed to be the opposition to the Republican Party? For years, they've told us the Democrats are the only ones who are standing up to Trump and the creeping fascism he represents. But we aren't hearing that line of crap now, are we? I want to see roly-poly and the other political prostitutes get out here and tell us what a great job the Democrats are doing now. Go ahead and tell us how they're standing up to the Republicans, standing up to the racists, how they're the ones who are the only things standing between America and full-fledged fascism. These people on the left who played the fools for the DNC are so pathetic. They're all angry and crying right now, a lot of them. How could the Democrats just roll over like this? They're not even trying to fight the Republicans. They're just agreeing with them on everything. Oh my God, are they on the same side as the Republicans? This is why they're going to lose the midterms. I'm not voting for them after this. Gee, I'm so shocked to hear that kind of talk. That the Democrats could ever be revealed as just a pack of liars and frauds, and that they were never actually an opposition party, but rather collaborators with the DNC, and that it makes no sense to vote for Democrats when they're not actually opposing the Republicans. Gee, where have I heard that before? Oh, wait. So all these fools who spent the last 17 years attacking the black media are now the ones who are saying, man, the Democrats don't deserve our vote if they're going to do this. Yeah, they're talking just like us now. You know, I don't want to keep company with people who are so stupid that they need 20 years to figure out something that was obvious in the first 20 minutes. And even then, they don't actually get it. They only seem to understand when it's so blatantly, ridiculously slapping them in the face that they simply can't deny it. Democrats are voting to honor someone who attacked Dr. King, who called Dr. King a bad person, who lied repeatedly about George Floyd, who falsely claimed that Floyd died from a drug overdose, and who giddily celebrated a violent attempt on the life of the spouse of one of their colleagues. How can you shills say the Democrats are going to protect America when the bastards won't even protect themselves? You're all bent out of shape about Jimmy Kimmel getting suspended. Well, nice to see we finally found the one thing you actually care about, your entertainment. Sad to say, more of these people are upset over Jimmy Kimmel not being on the air than they were over the National Guard in D.C. And don't kid yourself, even if Republicans were in the minority in both the House and the Senate, Democrats still would have allowed a vote to come to the floor to honor Charlie Kirk. And you know what? They would have voted to support it too, regardless. Same way we see Gavin Newsom slobbering all over the white right to praise Charlie Kirk and twisting his linguini spine into knots trying to appeal to the white right. It's the same way we'we've seen Democrats for years trying to appeal to Republican voters. Remember Rahm Emanuel and his so-called Biden Republicans that never materialized? And the Democrats are doing this because the black grassroots have stopped voting for nothing. Black folks started making demands. The Democrats realized, okay, we're not going to be able to send out any pork chop preachers to get them back in line or to distract them or to otherwise take their eye off the ball. This is more of the Democrats pursuing their appeal to the white right political strategy. And has it worked? Of course not. Have Democrats consistently lost elections trying this? Of course. But they don't care because the only ones they're actually trying to appeal to are their rich donors. And the donors will continue to give them campaign donations, albeit modestly, so long as the Democrats keep making fools of themselves like this. As usual, the black media is right. The tools, shills, and sellouts are wrong. I really want the vote blue no matter who crowd to make sure to show up for this one. I mean, we haven't heard from those creeps in a while, and they've been radio silent ever since Friday. It's interesting how many of these fools who had previously been waving the vote blue no matter who flag are now trying to lie and pretend that they were skeptical about the Democrats all along. Oh, you know, I've always had my reservations about the Democrats because I was disappointed I was skeptical from the very beginning. I was waiting to see what they would do with this or that legislation. Well, your common sense deficient and your IQ is lower than your shoe size if you actually needed to wait to figure this one out. The black grassroots, the black media saw the game from the very beginning, and we were attacked for it. But as usual, if you're not listening to the black media, you'll always be the last to know. And these online bootlicking clowns are just now figuring this out, some of them, but don't let the DNC cheerleaders lie to you, family. They were dyed-in-the-wool apologists for the same Democrats who today they're whining about. Their problem is that the Democrats have embarrassed them. The Democrats have exposed them, humiliated them, look like the fools that they are. And now they're trying to save face by saying, well, you know, I had my doubts about them for a while now. That's a lie. They were solidly on the Democrats' side, solidly on Team DNC, carrying water for them. They're just embarrassed and humiliated now because the Democrats are now just caving into the Republicans wholeheartedly. They switched sides at this point. And best of all, these butt-kissing shills and bootlicks and liars, they can't deny it. That's how pathetic their defense of the Democrats has become. See, this is the importance of black folks getting on code and putting our foot down, forcing everyone to say where they stand. Take on those hardline issues like reparations. Force everybody to have to go on the record with what they really believe. Make things come to a head. And of course, let's not forget about the fact that we made it very clear. The only way you're going to keep the orange man from getting back in the White House is to do what we say. If not, well, then the nation's in for one hell of a political face peel when Donald Trump's back in there. And you see what the result is. They know that there's no way to put a spin on this or to dilute it or to downplay it. This puts the lie to everything the shills have said about the Democrats and about the black grassroots. So don't let them sit here and try to take off their DNC uniforms, try to take off their official I Love Nancy Pelosi pins, and then try to pretend like they weren't on board with the BS. And this is the reason why you didn't see the black grassroots getting terrified about the orange man getting reelected. Why? Because we knew that this would force everyone to have to go on the record. If there actually is an opposition party out there, then they would have to actually be forced to fight. They would actually have to oppose something. Are these guys about representing the American people, or are they only about representing themselves? And now we've gotten the answer. People have been asking for a while now, will the Democrats actually ever fight for anything? And now they're proving what they're going to fight for. They'll fight to honor racists. Not one of them will say a peep about how divisive Charlie Kirk was. And divisiveness was literally the only thing that he did. We were told that reparations was divisive, remember? Well, what the hell was Charlie Kirk? Liars are always saying, we're fighting so hard for you. Well, now we're paying attention and we're keeping tabs and records on what people do. And what a surprise, it's been an uninterrupted record of lies and capitulation and outright collaboration with the very Republicans who they claim to be fighting. Democrats won't even speak against the white right, much less fight them, because the game from the very beginning was to con you into thinking there was some sort of resistance, when in reality, they're both two wings on the same white supremacist vulture. I've been telling you this for 17 years. How do you dial people in to be oppressed for the long haul? It's a trick as old as the Romans. Present them with phony opposition. That way they have the illusion that there's some sort of choice in why they can work within the very system that their oppressors set up. That's the purpose that controlled opposition serves. It gets you to sit on your hands and do nothing, and you sit there and think to yourself that one of these sellouts and suckers or one of these traitors is going to actually do something to empower you when they were put there by the very people who subjugated you in the first place. The entire reason they're called controlled opposition is because their job is to control you. So, while the shills and DNC plants are going silent yet again, the black media won't. Some of you fools actually tricked yourselves into believing that if Trump got back into the White House, that this would force the Democrats to finally have to stand for something and to stop playing games, and that Republican adversity would force the Democrats to finally grow a spine. Well, we in the black media told you this was never going to happen. As the old saying goes, adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. Good evening, and be one.
Was nothing but a tool. Oh my goodness. So there is a quote, something along the lines of white supremacy always breaking their tools. I can't remember verbatim, but unfortunately, that is what happened to Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was nothing more than a tool for white elites. Because what you have to understand, Charlie Kirk wasn't the most intelligent, right? He wasn't the brightest. He wasn't smart at all, okay? That was exposed when he had a debate with actual intelligent people at Cambridge, and he got BTFO'd and exposed for being a pseudo-intellectual. Damn. So what do you do when you're not very smart? You know, you're a community college dropout. You're not very, handsome by any metric of female eye. What do you do? Well, what you have to do is that you find utility in being a tool for white elites. And that's exactly what Charlie Kirk did. His utility was in Turning Point USA. His utility was saying, hey, I can garner you votes. I can garner you attention. I can put out propaganda to the youth. Because by him going to these college campuses and grooming these students to view things by his perspective via rhetorical fallacies and whatnot, and just disingenuous arguments and bad faith interpretations, that's how he made his utility. So he made his utility by saying, hey, I can give you attention. Your legislation, I can make that look good. The problem with that is that Charlie Kirk was Turning Point USA. That there is no one outside of maybe possibly, Candace Owens that would be able to take up that mantle. So upon him being gone, Turning Point USA is going to die out. I understand that Erica Kirk is, CEO now, but they will never in a million years listen to a white woman. I'm just letting you know. They will never listen to a woman of any color, to be honest with you. Surely not a white woman, giving them directions on what they should do, giving them directions on how they should live their life. Because many of the white youth, the male white youth, are not only incels, but they're very misogynistic, okay? And that stems from a certain Christian nationalism that they have in which, hey, a female cannot lead a man. There will never be a female leader over a group of white men. Will not happen in modern time. I don't know if it's happened in history at any point in time. It won't happen.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Turning Point USA, in a nutshell, is scrambling right now to find a white male. They don't have that, bro. They don't have that unless by the grace of God, well, maybe not God, by the grace of Satan, that somehow someone manages and comes up like a Moses figure and saves the organization.
Toast.
That being said, the real sad part about all of this is truly of him being a tool now for conspiracy. We'll get into that momentarily, but he also didn't have any friends. He really didn't have any friends. Let's take, for example, Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he didn't say this. I believe it was Junior who said, well, he's like a son to you.
You know, Don said to me, he's sort of like a son to you.
And I want you to understand this is how he treats someone who's like a son to him. When asked, well, how are you holding up, Mr. President? Donald Trump says, you know, very good. And then immediately directs to, hey, well, they're doing construction in the ballroom and it's almost done and yada, yada, yada.
Oh, you holding up over the last 3.5 days? I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks have just started. So it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually.
Then if you don't remember, the day after Charlie Kirk being removed from planet Earth, you have Trump at a baseball game doing his little dance and everything. Not very, reminiscent of someone who's mourning or grieving. And then the cherry on top of this Sunday is that during an interview during a Fox News, that when the interviewer asked, hey, you know, Charlie Kirk didn't believe in hate speech, that Donald Trump responded with a glib remark whereas he's like, well, I think he may believe in it now.
Charlie said, you know, that there was no such thing as hate speech. He obviously, you know, no one anticipated what happened to Charlie, but you have always been.
Now, I want you to understand, they wanted to get on me for memes. You have the President of the United States on multiple accounts being dismissive and honestly disrespectful to his son, Charlie Kirk.
Wake up, nigga.
Then we pivot to Erica Kirk, not to be accused of targeting her, but I will say that fundraising off of your husband no longer being here, it's a little weird. I would say it's a little perverse, okay? That's just me. Everyone mourns, you know, and grieves differently. But in addition to that, having someone record you as you're crying over your husband, all right, at the casket, open casket, and you releasing this out to the public for clicks and attention, which is what many with, an IQ above room temperature would argue that you're doing, once again, doesn't come off as genuine. It comes off as a little icky. I think many people pointed out that Candace Owens is her video of her laughing with Charlie Kirk and everything felt more genuine than what his wife actually released, especially if you, on top of everything she did with the speech, something was off there. But as I said, everyone can mourn and grieve however they feel. Let's go on further into the conspiracy route, because what we're dealing right now is conspiracy land. That's what Charlie Kirk is being used for, is conspiracy land to attack Israel. And we have some familiar faces. We have Nick Fuentes and we have Candace Owens. Now, this time, it seems that everything is switched, because there was a period of time where Candace Owens was a very, a valiant army, a valiant soldier for defense of Israel. And there was a point in time where Nick Fuentes was like, hey, Israel is doing this. They, destroying our country. They're, our money is going towards them, right? Very critical of Israel. Now, things have switched. Now it argues because a little heat happened to fall on Nick Fuentes.
But this whole blaming it on the Groypers, yeah, that seems like the definition of a psyop.
Because people were saying that the shooter was a Groyper. We have a picture of him very much, almost eye to eye, in the Pepe Frog meme that's going around. Now, as we all know, that the Pepe Frog is very one-to-one with the Groyper army, which is Nick Fuentes' army. And we understand that Nick Fuentes has been very critical of Charlie Kirk.
For Charlie Kirk to go on his show today and say, there is no forced starvation, here comes a rabbi to tell us why, without a shadow of a doubt, he is being paid by them.
But recently, Nick Fuentes has talked about, hey, they're trying to blame it on me, okay, for the Charlie Kirk. And he's come out and says, I decry any type of political violence. It's almost if, I don't know, maybe he had gotten the call.
There's a lot of people that are under the impression that there was some wider conspiracy by the Jews, by Israel, to kill Charlie Kirk. And as you know, I am not convinced of this at all.
Ironic.
Very different behavior. Very interesting. I have to take note of that. Then we juxtapose that with Candace Owens, who's going all in, talking about, hey, something doesn't feel right. Bill Ackman and everything.
His top Jewish donors were pulling funding from him, demanding that Charlie take their name off of the building that they had donated to Turning Point. I guess I can figure out who that is, how many people could have donated a building. And then once Charlie was killed, they said, never mind, put it back on the building. He went on to Patrick Bet-David's podcast. He went on to Brendan Tatum's podcast. He went on to the Nelk Boys podcast. Anybody find it weird he didn't do Charlie Kirk's show?
And then she's looking over Netanyahu, which I will say was a bit off, okay? It's a bit weird of you saying or you putting words in a dead man, right? Because he wants to say that Charlie Kirk lived to defend for Israel. That was one of his greatest, accomplishes, being a Christian and everything. It's like,
he told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization.
what? I don't know. That just feels a little icky. You putting in words to a dead man who can't confirm or deny that he actually said that to you. But who am I to judge, right? Who am I? Nevertheless, this leads us with, an ongoing investigation of people trying to true crimes it and figure out, well, did the bullet hit here? Was it a magic bullet? Why did this person do this? And we truly begin to see just how alone Charlie Kirk was. Like how alone Charlie Kirk was, bruh. Because you have people going off of cuckoo for Cocoa Puff land. You got your own wife fundraising. And then you also have the administration utilizing his passing to try and usher in hate speech laws and whatnot. It's just, man, when I say a tool, I mean a tool. This man is being used more as a tool, not being here, than he was alive. We're going to be honest. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see is what someone would say if they actually felt it was sad to see. I think for many of us, it was expected. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, Lydic, that's not true. You're
And is, take a look at this. This right here is the official cause of death of this woman right here, who was a congresswoman in Minnesota by the name of Melissa Hortman. Right there. RIP. Now, here is the official cause of death for our brother Charlie Kirk. Watch this. Just died, right? Not assassinated in broad daylight where we all saw. No. Let me do it one more again. One more again. Right here we have assassinated. Y'all see that? Right there. Assassinated. Yeah. And right there we have died. Now, if it wasn't thanks to one of my good people out there, I would not have come across this, or at least it would have probably been a long time till I saw it. But since she sent me this in good timing, I'm going to let this be known. The leftist propaganda machine is the devil.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Tim Black's BS detector.
Chicken George. Before we go any further, let me let you know the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed, 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. Chicken George, you understand that Ms. Hortman was an elected official in the state of Minnesota? See, elected officials are people that were elected. You do know what elected means, right? See right here? Elected. That means voted in. Held in a capacity. That means as a people, state. Get it? Charlie Kirk was not an elected official. I don't think that what Charlie Kirk got shot. It could have just said shot dead. It should have said shot. Maybe murked. Maybe murked would be the better. Murked. That's what black people refer to as shot dead. Murked. You wouldn't know that, but. So what I'm trying to tell you is, see, I think some of you conservatives with the flag shirt on, this flag shirt on, bunch of pandering assholes. Hey, bro. See, this is the reason why we shouldn't be nice to you guys. Because when we are nice to you and say, you know what, have your assassination name. Sure, if a man can call himself a girl if he wants to, if a man wants to be in love with My Little Pony, why not let you call what happened to Charlie Kirk an assassination? Go ahead. It's fine, man. No problem. We got people from Uganda who want to call themselves Black American. We got you want to call yourself Black American too. Whatever this, you know what I'm saying? Like, people call themselves whatever they want. But here's the deal, Johnson. Technically, a private citizen doesn't get assassinated. They get shot. That's what that's called. You are getting over, you're being privileged. Yeah, we let you call what happened to Charlie something different than what happened to Tupac or Biggie, but it's not different. And Kirk didn't sell no records. He didn't get any Grammys. He ran an organization that was funded by billionaires out of the Republican Party. That's what he did. With all the people that are saying all these weird things about Charlie, and I get it, man. I try not to speak ill of the dead. I try not to say it, but you are making me say it. If somebody gave me $100 million, I could run an organization too. Yeah, I could go sit in the front of a bunch of college kids, do a bunch of question farming and clip farming, have a bunch of people come up and ask questions. I have already queued up my answers because I've studied what I'm going to say. No matter what the answer is always lead and direct the answer to the question down one of 6 different hallways. And after a while of doing that, I get pretty good at doing that. Because I go to different campuses doing it all the time, and they just ask me one question. So if I do 20 of those, I'm really good at answering that shit. He did 100 or 200 or 500 or whatever amount. But dog, when a Republican financier gives you multiple millions of dollars to start an organization that was funded by these guys, and look, it is what it is. Stop acting like he invented something. He broke the mold. He built something from the ground up. This is not the Panthers. He did not build something from the ground up where there was nothing. He didn't do so with just local grassroots money. This is not a local grassroots campaign. This was a campaign funded by the Republican Party. Even the Koch brothers gave money in on it. The Bradley Foundation, We talking deep pockets, sir. But see, I already know that you know this. You just are shucking jiving for the BS. I also think you know that what happened to JFK and MLK and RFK is different than what happened to Charlie. Charlie worked for a party. It's called MAGA. That's what he was doing. That's why they were funding him. So anyway, he should not. It's no person. Look, I will never clap for someone's to be offed, right? I mean, if it's a fight over a gun and someone's trying to kill you and you're trying to kill them or whatever, you know, there's circumstances. But I'm saying typically, I would never be on the side of anything violent. I'm not on the side of the shooter in this, whoever that shooter may turn out to be. But let's not fool ourselves. Elected officials get assassinated. Kirk, and if you want to say so do celebrities, I hear you talking. Problem was, a lot of people had no idea who Charlie Kirk was. A lot of people didn't know. If you weren't a politician, you wouldn't know. Okay, there's been like 100 rappers who have been killed, whose names I didn't know. I never listened to their music. I didn't say they got assassinated. I said they got shot. And some of them sold more records sold more records, made more money, were more successful than Charlie Kirk is with politics. It's just what it is. But I wouldn't call them assassinated. I would just call them murked. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, everybody's letting y'all have y'all moment, man. I'm all for letting the conservatives have their moment. But you don't sound conservative. You sound stupid. And you're getting a little too entitled. Too entitled. When you say, oh, they say this woman's she's white, Charlie's white. It's that race. It's that race. It is occupation. It is who was an elected official and who was that. And I hear you assholes saying, Charlie could have been president. Yeah, okay. Considering George Bush was president, stop making it sound like it's that hard to do. Now when you got money, I mean, it's not impossible. All right, let's keep it moving, guys. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
We are going to be looking at some disturbing videos, strange and odd news stories, and as always, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Now, I said in a previous community post that I was not going to talk about the whole Charlie Kirk situation because I feel like this is nothing more than another Thomas Matthew Cook situation where we're given rabbit holes upon rabbit holes that go down to nowhere, and we are purposely given these rabbit holes to keep us distracted. And even though I do mention Charlie Kirk in this video, this has less to do about the whole situation and more to do about what the public is willing to believe. And it's downright scary because we do know we have a big agenda on the horizon, a very big one that involves UFOs and aliens. And if they're willing to have people believe just about anything, then they're going to have them believe this really big agenda that's at play that's coming up soon. So what am I talking about? Well, apparently there's a lot of chatter online about there being a lack of an exit wound on Charlie Kirk's neck, to the point that Turning Point USA spokesman had to speak to Charlie Kirk's surgeon to basically put this to rest. The reason why this is being brought up happens to be because there was a lot of people standing behind him when he got shot. So with that type of rifle, with that type of bullet, somebody else should have also gotten hit as well, is basically what they're saying. The executive producer of the Charlie Kirk show wrote in a lengthy post on X, I want to address some of the discussion about the lack of an exit wound with Charlie. I'm usually not interested in delving into most of this kind of online chatter, and I apologize this is somewhat graphic, but in this case, the fact that there wasn't an exit wound is probably another miracle, and I want people to know. This producer spoke with Kirk's surgeon, who told him the bullet absolutely should have gone through, which is very, very normal for a high-powered, high-velocity round. And this bullet can definitely pierce even an elephant. And he goes on to say, I've seen wounds from this caliber many times, and they always just go through everything. This would have taken a moose or two down, an elk, etc. Now look, when it comes to my own personal beliefs, I do believe that miracles do happen. I've spoken about demons, I've spoken about fallen ones, entities, but also the fact happens to be is that where there's evil, there's also good. I do believe there are good entities, angels, and so forth. There are channels out there that want me to talk about the more spiritual aspects of things, and I have made it clear multiple times how I feel about that subject. Yes, again, miracles do happen. But when we have one news story, when we have one case where absolutely nothing makes any sense whatsoever, when right out the gate we're just being fed BS after BS after BS, then this newest update that's coming out where they're trying to say it was just a miracle, no, it's going to go into the BS pot with all the other BS that has come out so far. And given the fact of just how sensitive and delicate the human neck just happens to be, there is no human neck out there that can stop a 30-06 caliber round, unless you're a Superman. Matter of fact, the doctor even references Superman. The doctor added that Kirk's bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the Man of Steel. It should have just gone through and through. It likely would have ended those standing behind him too. So there's two ways you can see this update. You can see it as a miracle, or you can see it as BS. And given the fact of how much BS already surrounds this news story, as someone that does believe in miracles, I just see this as pure BS. And again, the reason why I wanted to talk about this happens to be because of the comments in these news articles, in these news clips talking about this, where people are absolutely buying this. And if people buy this, they can buy anything. They can buy anything that's being sold to them. To put into perspective, this person left a good comment. They said, there's 3,000 foot-pounds of energy in a supersonic 30-06 bullet. That means it can lift a car 1 foot or a 300-pound man 10 feet. If Charlie absorbed all that energy, then he gets knocked back 10 feet. Anybody see that? So what part is the lie? Maybe all of it? I don't know. But all I know is it's just very, very, again, scary reading these comments and reading these comments on these news articles, just what the public is willing to believe and buy. And a lot of these might not even be real people. They could be bots. And if they do have bots out there heavily trying to control the narrative and try to turn it around, then that's even more telling. There is something else I do want to go ahead and talk about before I go ahead and move to a completely different subject. But in a past couple of videos, I've spoken about how people are basically making the dead speak through AI. We had seen this being used in a courtroom, a court of law, and we have also seen this used to push a political message when it came to gun violence. First off, it's very creepy because these are not the words from the actual person. This is not the actual person speaking these words because, again, they are deceased. And I said this sets a very bad precedent, especially if it's being allowed in a court of law. Well, apparently this is not stopping because 3 churches are having Charlie Kirk speak from the grave by using AI, using his AI voice.
Me a clip. I think it was created. No, it was created on AI, artificial intelligence, from the words of Charlie Kirk. I was so moved just to hear it between services. You're hearing something the first service didn't. But I want you to watch this clip and hear what Charlie is saying regarding what happened to him this past week.
First, I want you to know I'm fine, not because my body is fine, but because my soul is secure in Christ. Death is not the end. It's a promotion. Don't waste 1 second mourning me. I knew the risks of standing up in this cultural moment, and I'd do it all over again. Second, do not let this violence divide us further. The enemy wants chaos, fear, and retaliation. Don't give it to them. Instead, double down on truth. Double down on courage. Double down on your faith and on your families. That is how you honor me. Third, Remember this, America is worth it. Free speech is worth it. Fighting for the unborn, for families, for sanity in a culture gone mad, it is all worth it. So dry your tears, pick up your cross, and get back in the fight. Do it with joy, do it with strength, and never ever let evil think it won.
These people speak, bro. That man burning here. What the hell? What are they thinking about? That man burning here. These people playing Ouija boards in there.
I love you so much, church.
You're
I love you for things just like that.
This is just as eerie when they use an AI voice and AI image of the Parkland victim to, again, push a message. This is just as eerie as when it was used in a courtroom, and this is happening more and more. It's like we live in a very dark episode of Black Mirror. Even this even goes well beyond the Twilight Zone. Now, you can like the message behind it, and I'm sure some people will, but to use AI to have people speak from beyond the grave is downright scary in the times that we're living in. Given the fact that you have all these people standing and applauding instead of being like, this is very bizarre times, this is very weird dystopian times, just shows just how cooked society happens to be. In other interesting news, I had made multiple videos so far about how 2025 keeps
It's like evil right here.
Hello. God bless all of you for coming here from all over the world to honor and celebrate my Charlie.
They celebrating that dude. They might well be in there celebrating David D. R.I.P. David D.
Just a few miles from here,
Charlie was the new David D.
2 years ago at America Fest 2023, Charlie delivered a speech on stage for our TPUSA Faith event. Charlie loves speaking off the cuff. He's very good at that, without a script. So I personally didn't know what he was going to say.
You knew what he was always going to say. You were right.
And what he chose to speak about that day was his submission to the will of God.
Nah, we're going.
He quoted one of his favorite Bible verses, Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8.
What Bible?
Here I am, Lord. Send me.
Nah, this all scripted.
After Charlie finished, I met him backstage and I spoke to him, and I'll never forget this. I said, Charlie, baby, please talk to me next time before you say that.
This lady is an asset by Mossad and CIA. She won Miss America pageant. You see, they put her on old Charlie. This lady is evil, little motherfucker. They put her on old Charlie. She's really a spy. See, Charlie fell for the old okie doke. She was already Miss America. He just was a horny little toad, you know, and she got to playing Christian. This lady, boy, that ain't never been no Christian. Debbie does Dallas, you know. This lady here was OnlyFans way before it wasn't OnlyFans. You see what I'm saying? So they sicked her on old Charlie boy.
That statement. Because when you say something like that, there is so much power in that verse.
I keep playing with God. Y'all gonna keep this stuff
when
down.
you say, here I am, Lord, use me. God will take you up on that.
Yeah, you damn right it will. Keep playing.
And he did.
Oh, I want you to know, fam. I want you to know.
See, they need to keep doing this.
There were people that were
keep
critical.
Holding these rallies playing with guard They don't understand. See, hearing these people talk, I'm telling you, that's when I started questioning about. Like, man, there's no way in hell we cannot be talking about the same God. When I'm telling you, George Bush was talking, he acted like he just was old Christian man. Like, man, killing everything, moving over there and over there in the Middle East. He doing it in the name of the Lord. Bible in his hand. I'm like, man, you gotta be kidding me. Every time I hear these racist bigots talk, just you. See, I remember, oh yeah, y'all did pull that on our ancestors a long time ago. Y'all did conquer people in the name of the Lord. You see, y'all did go all around the world saying that everybody was heathens and only y'all knew Christ. And everybody else, they didn't know him. So they had to die. This is the same people. And they trying to pull the same scandalous ass hustle. So when I see her doing this, I'm like, ooh, you evil bitch. She really knows she don't give a damn about none of that she talking about. It's all a scam because some poor, confused whites, they think Jesus, they don't know they've been scammed. They actually believe that the ancestors came over here for a better life. They was being persecuted by the king. Yeah, that's a lie. They are the persecutors. Nobody was fucking with them. They came over for a better life, to steal everybody's shit and kill and plunder and loot. Get the fuck out of here.
Critical of Mrs. Kirk. They were critical of her.
They held Miss Kirk.
And they were saying that she did not show the adequate amount of.
Hell with this lady, bro. I'm gonna put a private investigator on. We put a private investigator on her ass. We got every right to go. All y'all racists listening. They're arresting Miss Kirk. Shut your bitch ass up. I heard see what y'all doing. All our people when they die. Y'all treat their families. What's wrong with y'all? She up to no good. I know her and Dunn Jr. They up to something. When I seen Dunn Jr. talking about this sis, I said, all right, nigga, it's not from the hood. I know about that, sis. Oh, this your little sister now. Man, get the fuck out of here, Don Jr. You disgusting pervert. You be on coke all the time. Oh, Don Jr. And I'm pretty sure Trump asked his son, you tapped that yet? That's how much they give a fuck about Charlie Kirk. They all betting. Who gonna hit this lady first? Because she was a porn Miss USA queen. Now she's trying to sit up here like she's the wife of a civil rights leader. Lady, we don't think so.
Motion in her original statement. And I never commented it, fam. I never said a single word about it. I didn't talk about it. The reason why I didn't say it is not because I'm afraid of backlash. It's because I don't think it's necessary to make comments like that about somebody when they lost somebody. Unless you have some type of information that this woman did not love her.
Down with us. See, everybody, I don't understand. People thought you'll get doxxed. Bitch, people don't, what are you hiding for? We want the world to know where we at, where we stay. We'll meet them here. What taking them so long? See, we got to stop all that. Everybody's getting, they're going to dox us. They don't fuck them. That's their worst fear. You got to understand, they worst fear of keyboard warriors is anybody finding out where they stay, where they work, and who they are. That's your worst fear. We don't fuck about that. What you ever will roll by anywhere we at. Show up anywhere we at. And we don't give a damn who you come with. We got to take that weapon out there. We don't fuck about no dog. What the hell is wrong with these people? We're gonna let everybody know. Bitch, we was scared. We know where you stay. Bitch, we used to at the cemetery. We're going to be there all day long.
Her husband. Come on now. That's her husband. And whatever she did on that day, okay, fine. Yo, she came out ready today. How could she not come off sympathetic? How can people not have empathy for her? How can people not? So all she had to do was show up, and that's what's going to be the outcome of this.
Yeah, you crazy.
Before we go any further, let me let you know the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed.
Adolf Hitler wife. That man, Adolf Hitler Jr. Can't no wife for the Ku Klux Klan come out after he dead and talk about Jesus and the Lord and what, lady? You should be preaching after your husband. He was a wicked man. I ain't trying to hear none of that. I don't damn how much white they put on her. you know. And hey, lady, you can't wear white no more, lady. You past wearing white. This lady, their eyes are fiddle. You need to have blackest black you can find. This lady, absolutely not finna pull this wool over our eyes. We're not going for it. This lady said that she forgive the killer. Ma'am, tell it to the prosecutor. They trying to give him the death penalty. If we do not hear this lady tell the prosecutors that man don't deserve to die, that's all an act. Don't come on here talking about I forgive the killer of my husband. Tell it to the judge because they say they want him dead.
Committed a 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack.
With Charlie. "11 days ago, God accepted that total surrender from my husband and then called him to his side.
That's a lie.
More than anything, Charlie wanted to do not his will, but God's will. And over these past 11 days...
I thought God told Charlie. So it was God who told Charlie after that white man asked him about gun violence statistics. Charlie said, well, are we talking about gang violence? So it was God who told him to be a racist, bigoted prick, even with his last breath. Man, are you sure? Like I say, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're talking about some demonic God like ball, some God of the occultist, right? That's what it's all about. So I gotta watch y'all. When you say God, you're not talking about the God of the good book. Oh, excuse me, because that's what y'all say. I fooled you. No, you're not fooling me, because I already know you not, you wicked lady.
Through all the pain, never before have I found as much comfort as I now do in the words of our Lord's Prayer, thy will be done.
Look at this evil lady. This lady. I ain't finna let this lady play the good book like that, bro. She talking about any Lord's Prayer. Lady, you ain't never read no Lord's Prayer. Lady, must I remind you, we know what you did last summer. We know your history. Prom Miss USA. You been sleeping around with Don Jr. too. And Trump. Trump said you gotta get a little piece. This lady said she got big plans now that suck out the way. Just like Jackie Kennedy. They need to start calling her Jackie Kennedy because then is Jackie Onassis. She married some other guy when soon as John died. Soon as John, man, President Kennedy went cold on the ground. And the lady who was looking just like this bimbo, standing over John Kennedy, coughing, crying with the little snotty-nosed kids. I love you, Daddy. My husband, we're going to always remember him. Then she would listen to Jay-Z. On to the next one. On to the next one. She married another man. Jackie Kennedy, that's a fact. Her name became Jackie what? Jackie Jackie Onassis. So whatever it was, y'all know the lady name with that. Rich guy on shipping companies and all that type of shit. He could spoil her, give her the world that Mr. Kennedy ass could never give her off that president's salary. But they had millions from the bootleg business. But anyway, I said that to say this. I see that in her future. She gonna marry some rich Republican playboy. He gonna have his way with her. Her name been floating around the Republican circles. They know all about Boom Boom Belinda. This lady's a freak. Debbie Does Dallas. She fulfilled all of the Charlie's. She was sick on Charlie. All his little nasty fantasies.
This is Christianity, patriotism.
That's called a till. This shit crazy. That's a till, y'all. Look, a little dab. Bitches, you nuts. Is you crazy? I'm just all out of tears. I'm crying so much. We ain't seen no tears. Last time I seen you, your ass was angry. standing, wanting payback, talking about revenge. But bumping some Tupac, hit him up. All eyes on you. Then they told you, no, calm down. You look like an evil bitch. Go back out here, well white, you know, put a little more blonde in that hair, bimbo. And then here we go. Here, the tears is flowing. She just dyed her eye.
All wrapped up into one. With pageantry. I'm only surprised they didn't have the jets flying overhead.
And you think to yourself, I cannot wait for this flight to land. And it's 15 minutes before you land. And she told me, you will get through these 15 minutes and the next 15 minutes after that. Usha, I don't think you realized it then, but those words were exactly what I needed to hear.
Usha.
But most of all,
Usha. Who is, anybody know who Usha is? I ain't gonna let these racists get away with that. Usha told me. They talking about the Indian lady that's married to J.D. Vance. Usha. Girl, you know you don't like no damn Indian ladies. You know you hate Usha is the vice president of this fucking country. We know what your real thoughts about Usha, the vice president of this fucking country. Even though she an uppity, arrogant, boule Indian, part of the class society, she thinks she better than the rest of those Indians. But that's not the point, because you think you better than her because she not white. Usha told me that. We know where y'all didn't want Vic Ramaswamy running. You say y'all said y'all didn't want those damn Indian kids all over in that White House like that. All of a sudden, Usha, because J.D. Vance, I get it. As long as the white man got his hands on her and she doing all the little nasty things J.D. perverted cross-dressing behind won't, it's cool to be an Indian lady. As long as she just a belly warmer, keep the good white man comfy, it's all right. Okay, I get it. Go ahead.
of all, God's mercy and God's love have been revealed to me these past 10 days. After Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence.
He wasn't assassinated. That he ain't no fuck about it. If he assassinated, just a victim of gun violence. That's it. He's just number 1017 for the year. He's another name. No, he was not assassinated, ma'am. Get the fuck. No, he was bushwhacked. The best we can give y'all is he was bushwhacked. That's 50-50. Y'all don't want it to be a regular school shooting? Fuck it. He was bushwhacked by an angry white guy. No different than the ones who came over here talking about they was leaving Europe to find a better life. Same people, same type of angry white guys. Just looking, they get angry, they want to kind of kill somebody.
We didn't see rioting.
Look at those eyes. Look, this is just in the name of Jesus. This is just in the name of Jesus. Yes, thank you, Lord. We didn't see no rioting like them niggas. I told y'all, you gonna take this serious? Hey, you can't take this shit serious. The evil bitch. That's why I'm gonna say that. Fuck them. We want war anyway. They tell me where they can meet us at. This evil bitch, I don't feel bad for saying that. Y'all excuse me to y'all who offended. Sat here pretended like she was coming in the name of the Lord. And she had God on her heart. Woman, next minute, we didn't see no rioting. That's a dog. From now on, when they say it wasn't no rioting, that's a dog whistle for like them niggas. Whenever something happened with them colors, them jigaboos, them porch monkeys. See? We killed Dr. King, they burned down the city. My poor Charlie was killed and we just called on the Lord. Man, get the fuck out of here. But I'm loving it. I'm loving it, evil, wicked woman, because you can't help yourself. Look at those eyes. I'll clap all you want, playing rally. Now look. John F. Kennedy, you bastard. I'm part of the administration. You dirty bastard. You come to us begging to get in White House. What you doing at Klan rally? What the hell you doing in there? You cheated on that woman next to you, fucking pervert. You tried to sleep with that reporter. This nigga is 200. Boy, you was running for president. You tried to sleep with a reporter. You're showing off. You want to sex her. This lady next to you is just, we know she's just a slut from Hollywood. Do anything you say, Y'all that have foursomes, swinger conventions. Fucking clown.
We didn't see revolution.
Nah, you never see no revolution, bitch, because y'all ain't no revolutionaries. Y'all just anarchists.
Instead, we saw what my husband always prayed he would see in this country. We saw revival.
We saw revival of 1776. Yeah, right.
Charlie Kirk was killed by a white guy. What you gonna do? Riot against white guys? What you gonna do? Protest white guys?
We didn't.
What are you gonna do? This is white on white crime. What are you gonna do? You got nobody to blame except other white people. Still, some reason we got black universities that had to close their doors. They had to cancel classes because your people put bomb threats. Who were the people making bomb threats on black people? Black schools. So your people didn't riot. You just threatened to kill black people that had nothing to do with it. Yeah, your people did not go out and break windows. Instead, they talked about blowing up college students in universities that have nothing to do with Utah, that are not even anywhere remotely connected to Utah, that were not remotely connected to the killer of your husband. I wonder if you're going to have any words about that. She won't.
This past week, we saw people open a Bible for the first time in a decade. We saw people pray for the first time since they were children. We saw people go to a church service for the first time in their entire lives.
That's a lie. No lie. Look, no little dab. Look, no little dab. This lady can't, man, you can't cry for your husband? See, them drugs, she don't want to let her be emotional. Because they see, she went to the drugs, she be a sobbing wreck. She probably do, I'm pretty sure she do love a little nigga. That was her way out. Now she probably got to go back and do some strange things for some motherfucking change, probably which already started with Don Jr. That's real talk. So I'm pretty sure she's an emotional wreck right now. Her fucking lottery ticket, well, if she keep this clown name going, the minute you keep rolling. But they told her, get on the drugs, man, so you won't, just be too racist. Yeah, you might say niggas or something, And now she can't come up with no tears, so she's got to sniffle. Everybody knows that's the old drug. Every fucking body in the world know you. Hey, where are the tears, man? And then she just hit the corner of her eye. Bitch, if you're crying, you ain't got to go to the corner. It's going to come down. The tears fall, ma'am. You don't got to go meet them up near your eye. That's one. This is fake. It's fake as hell. Disgusting, bro. I can't wait to see this. I want another little sniffle. Another little sniffle. Charlie. You definitely been with Don Jr. You on that powder, man. I'm tripping. That ain't no sniffle from the tip. Damn, boy. I done been out the street so long, I forgot what them niggas sound like when they been on that powder. Y'all know that. Oh, niggas, get off that Tony Montana, boy. You know that goddamn Christina Aguilera all day. You niggas sitting there sniffing that goddamn Christina Aguilera, that goddamn Britney Spears all day. Yeah, that's what she on. She on that white girl.
He'd always end it by asking, please let me know how I can better serve you as a husband. Charlie perfectly understood God's role for a Christian husband. A man who leads so that they can serve.
Why she stopped so they give her applause? They didn't want applause. She forced them. They were gonna let her keep going on because they're like, whatever. These people know this. They're like, whatever, man. A man who leads so that he can serve. Then she stopped, and then they start clapping. Why they didn't get up on their feet like, Charlie, you led. You said, I'm saying, this shit crazy. They context that man names to all the people in the audience. They give a fuck about that, man. That's serious business. How his killer got away? Why nobody beat him to death? Why haven't none of these people in here talking all that racist ass shit shot no damn body? It ain't gonna be no civil war. You telling people this. All these people, they want lunatics within the right to shoot people for them while they get to talk shit online and get to go to. See, this is the most they will ever do. Go to a rally and clap. and really their mind be like, man, fuck the niggas and the Mexicans and the Asians. These people ain't gonna do shit. So they ain't like the ancestors. I'll say one thing about their ancestors. All of the whites from the old days used to put in some work. Women, they helped their husbands kill your ass. The children, they shot you. That's a fact. They help lynch you. Them bastards is spoiled. They just pray another white person kill us. They don't plan on putting in no work. That's what we got. Right what we want. They ain't gonna do shit. Go to these type of memorials, listen to racist bigots preach hate, and pray somebody walk inside the church and shoot our elders. They ain't gonna fucking do it.
To all the men watching around the world, accept Charlie's challenge and embrace true manhood. Be strong and courageous for your families. Love your wives and lead them. Love your children and protect them. Be the spiritual head of your home.
How does this man love his children and protect them by going and antagonize people on college campus and get smoked for doing it? How did he love his wife? By going and preach bigotry and hate. She let her give a fuck about Charlie. She already thinking about it. She really, I'm pretty sure she really was tired of that bull. She really don't like this role they've been playing. This lady's a porn Miss USA. All this first lady of the church shit, she don't like that. She want to be a Kardashian. She want a boobs out. She want to be able to be revealing. She want to take pictures with her ass facing the camera like every other bopper that's out there these days. Now, this I'm telling you, remember, look where was she at? How much money from her account went to those shooters? We might all have got this all wrong. We're looking in the wrong places. This might not have been no fucking government conspiracy. This might have just been a simple case of this woman want to go back to the days when she was out there letting it all hang. She don't like all this Christian stuff. She not really about that shit, bro. You just gotta realize that.
But please be a leader worth following. Your wife.
Your wife. Look, more scammers. See, these two scammers. See, look. This is more her cup of tea. This white boy right here, Charlie, he shit like all that. She was not into Charlie, bro. I know it's gonna hurt a lot of y'all. She wasn't. She don't like all that preppy bullshit. They ain't into that no more. 2025, man. Charlie ain't got no tattoos. Ain't got no piercings. Why is his nose ring? She want a punk rocker like this dude right here. That's serious business. I know it hurt them people. Charlie played them. He just look, man. This is something they're gonna have to face.
Your wife is not your servant. Your wife is not your employee. Your wife is not your slave. She is your helper. You are not rivals. You are one flesh working together for the glory of God.
Oh, she went to the middle.
Yeah, now this part right here.
Oh, she got the new dot. She found a new tear coming on her nose this time. Man, lady, come on, give us a break.
Found this to be totally acceptable.
I look at all these bigoted racists. We're going to remember this. This is going to go down in history as a fun. No Klan really thought they was a Klan rally. They didn't call themselves that. No, every Klan rally was a good old white Christian group. They was getting out. First of all, they was getting out of church. Let's get that straight. There's no people thought say there's no fucking Ku Klux Klan rally. No, that's what we labeled it later on in life. When we got to sit back and get a view of it from 100 feet above ground and look at it like we're looking at this. It's going to go down as a Ku Klux Klan rally. But they always smashed it in good old white Christian nationalism. They love the Lord. That's a family. Family. It's about family. Guns and God.
Yeah, I got no problems with this at all. I don't know why Well, I do know why. I do know why some people don't want to hear it, because they're not Christians, you know what I'm saying? But raised that way, that's where I was raised. Hearing this type of biblical, Christian-focused type belief system. And believe it, you know, there are people that do live their lives this way. And I get it. Like this right here is going to resonate. Once again, this is going to resonate very much with a large amount of people across the spectrum. And, well, I won't say across the spectrum, because some people are going to be predisposed to not liking this at all. But I'm trying to be as objective as possible. And I just say that hits home with a lot of people who have, you know, with their families and how they want their relationships to work.
Went onto campus.
Nowhere in hell you can say you give a shit about family and you try to break up other people's families and take the fathers out of other people's homes and try to incarcerate sons in the home. It don't even make sense. What the fuck are you talking about? You're killing families. Oh, that's why I know they're liars. That is a scam. They never gave a shit about no family. What they did to our in the slavery days, they made the mothers in slavery rear the kids. Then they just ripped the kids away from them and sold them. Yeah, you can raise them. Then we selling them. Husband, oh yeah, oh Jake, you can have that's your wife over there. I'm gonna sleep with her and every other dude gonna sleep whenever we want. And she got a real some kids that we're gonna sell. Oh, but y'all can just say y'all married. But at the same time, we care about the family and the father being in the home. What? It's just propaganda. They don't give a shit about that. That is just lies. So the fact that they believe in any type of biblical teachings is the biggest lie in fucking American history. The fact that these people got the nerve to say Jesus will go along with any of their hypocrisy, their bigoted ways. No way would Jesus back them blatantly antagonizing black people. There's no way. No matter what type of message, and this one thing, no matter what type of message you preaching, you're not gonna be able to stamp that on behalf of Jesus or nobody else. If your message is off, you antagonizing blacks, you can't rectify that with anything that Jesus was teaching. But they want that message to be so noble when you're trying to put blacks down. And people, we're at a point, we know exactly your meaning. Let's just get it out there. We know that's why Charlie Kirk, they try to make him a hero, because he made it popular and cool once again to talk disrespectful to blacks like the 1960s. See, made it cool again to go at them. And they thought it was cool to try to disrespect Dr. King in an intellectual way on college campuses. Something they all want to say and not be fired. And not be part of cancel culture. See, they the ones said they were sick of this cancel culture. Cancel culture comes from saying nigger. When racist people saying nigger, then they lose their job. These white people go, oh, you want to cancel everybody. It's no freedom of speech. I told you they only talk about freedom of speech when they disrespecting your ass. Then that's the freedom of speech. The freedom to disrespect you. But you say anything disrespectful, all that's hate speech. Yeah, your ass getting banned and deplatformed. They done to me several times. You getting deplatformed. But when it's something said to us, oh, that's just free speech. Oh, the Ku Klux Klan got the right to march down the road. They can have all the rallies they want. Their whole mission is lynching black people. The Ku Klux Klan in 2025. And they still got it on the books that that's freedom of speech because it's against us.
He was looking to show them a better path and a better life that was right there for the taking. He wanted to show them that. My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That young man on the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
Look how fake that is. Look how fake that is. Look how fake that is. This how fake that. Now this is all fake. She's still not crying. There ain't no tears. There's no tears on the lady's face. This lady ain't crying, man.
I don't mean no harm, man.
This lady ain't shedding not one tear. That's all fake. That young man. That young man. Please, you know she wants to say that fucking bitch. I kill him. She's like, that young man. But the tears she's like, damn, I can't come up with nothing. She's like, where are the fucking tears? The pills is holding them back, man. You shouldn't have took the pills. You probably came up with something. I forgive him. Still didn't break down. I forgive him. Okay, good. You forgive him. Like I said, you need to tell it to the prosecutor. And the district attorney, they talking about giving that young man the death penalty. If the wife of Charlie Kirk has forgiven him, you mean to tell me that this crowd of people want to kill on behalf of Charlie, they can't forgive him? You mean to tell me the rest of the right racist bigots, they can't have a heart like Charlie's widow and forgive and forget and let go? Quit running all these racist episodes on their channels trying to start civil war? How about they just forgive like Saint Charlie's wife? Because they know there's propaganda and bullshit. There's more bullshit. Come on, bro. That shit is crazy. I forgive him. I forgive him like the Lord said forgive him. He know not what he do. Oh, man. Shit.
Man, and I want this to be as... I want y'all to hear me, man. Hear me clearly, man. Black America. And I want to say all Americans, right? Stay out of harm's way on this one. Stay out of harm's way on this one. That's all I'm saying. This can go very bad, very left real quick.
Yeah.
Right?
For people like her playing with the good book, mocking, and thinking everything is a fucking joke, it go horribly wrong for them. Because she actually said they ain't learned a lesson. What happened to Charlie? Quit mocking and playing demonic and wicked games. That's what you need to do. That's exactly what they need to fucking do. Quit using the Bible for their propaganda. For their own wicked, evil ambitions.
And this has all the potential of exploiting big time. And whatever your thoughts are, whatever you feel like, whatever, right now is not the time. I mean, I gotta admit, I'm pulling punches here.
It's exactly the time.
Because
it's the right
in the gravity of what has happened, it cannot be forgotten. What we talking about?
That ain't knocking on career, Scott. That lady ain't Betty Shabazz. I'll be fucking damn. I'll be damn. Her husband was a bigoted hypocrite, a pastor of hate, a pastor of propaganda, who reaped what he had fucking sowed, and by the hands of his own, his life was taken. That's the fucking truth. That is exactly what happened. She ain't none of the great ancestors that we had who their husbands failed. She ain't the wife of Fred Hampton. She ain't the wife of Medgar Evers. Hell no. The best we can give her is she's just another Jackie Kennedy who changed her last name to Aces or whatever it was after Kennedy was killed because she got with another sugar daddy billionaire. We can give her that. That's more her ilk.
About, right? And that woman making that gesture in front of all those people about a real life thing that we know took place.
That was fake.
Yeah, that's going.
Fuck. That was fake. We don't give a fuck. We won't be played. We don't give a fuck about their propaganda. We don't give a fuck what they felt, touched that they didn't. Boy, we're not letting them. Man, we bashing the gas on this shit because our survival. We can't play lightly. We can't make them think they're the right. We're in a lynch party. Oh fuck no. Some black people gonna get lynched playing these games. Hell no, that's fake. They just come with a different playbook. Quit trying to be biggest. If you want to love the Lord, really love him, move on. Quit preaching hate. That lady just said nobody rioted. That is racist dog whistles. How can the Lord be in your heart and you're so filled with, thinking about righteous stuff, but then you do a dog whistle to black people? Now that's wicked and that's evil. And we're going to call that shit out. That the Lord is not in that place. Jesus is not with them mocking black people and trying to get innocent black people lynched and killed. We're supposed to sit here and say, nah, that's just what happened when John F. Kennedy got killed and the motherfucking Nation of Islam told Malcolm not to say nothing. He said, Malcolm said the chickens come on the roost. Fuck that shit. We got to say something. Chickens come on the roost, like Malcolm said. We ain't going to be quiet because the whites might go crazy. Fuck them. And that bullshit.
Gonna have ramifications. And all I'm saying is, I'm seeing young people, like I saw a young black kid on a university, I think it was Texas State University. He was acting out. He was doing this thing at a Charlie Memorial. And I'm just saying, man, do not do that, young man. Young man, let people express.
I don't give a shit. I'm a fucking gunfight. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I mean, fuck that. We're gonna say whatever the fuck want to say, whatever the fuck want to say. Nigga, get bad news for America. We don't give a fuck. Fuck her. I thought fuck the freedom speech. What I right say that? Fuck them. Tell me, I don't want to let them know why I stay. Oh, fuck these people up. We'll come to their house. They gotta know we stay. We'll meet you. Where you at? No, we ain't caught. This is how we feel. This is how black Americans really feel about these racist bastards. They ain't angry. Where the fuck is in the room? They like plenty of black people to get lynched when a bunch of white people get mad. We don't give a fuck about that. Let's do this shit. Let's do it. Try to go my motherfucking tea later, man. My pops. Ain't nobody playing with these people.
Their sorrow,
these people, bro.
Anger, frustrations, whatever. These people as long as it's not hurting you, as long as you're safe, allow them their moment. Give these people their moment.
It's our moment.
It's a respectful thing.
They ain't racist bastards ain't throwing no racist ceremonies in. They supposed to just give them their time tomorrow. Man, fuck them. They never respected us. Gave us no respect. Reap what you sow, dirty bastards. The wages of sin is still death, dirty bastards. Why they saying every fucking thing in the book except you reap what you sow? They don't know what they said. They don't know where the wages of sin is still death. You missed that? They just glossing over that. Man, please. I know. I remember them quotes.
To do, and it's also the safe thing for you to do. I mean it, man. Brothers and sisters, I'm serious. Do not put yourself in harm's way over this.
General, you sit back, you're a news reporter. I feel what you're trying to do, but fuck that bullshit. I'm a general. Fuck that. It's gonna be whatever they fuck they want to do. We're not bowing down. We're gonna show them what I'm saying. And these dirty bastards, it'll be eye for eye. We Old Testament revolutionaries. It's whatever they want to do. We ain't scared of nobody. We ain't scared of them. You ain't showing no respect. You ain't getting no respect. And I told you, all they want to do is we with docs and find out who the fuck y'all talking to. We crazy for real. You want to know what we ain't? We'll tell you. You don't get the address. We don't give a fuck about none of that. See, a lot of black people be talking that shit. And they want the people to show up at their job. We don't give a fuck. You can get it wherever we at, bro. Nah, we ain't going like that. I ain't finna have nobody telling black people to just shut up, be quiet, let the whites do the fuck. Whoever got a problem with us, bro. And these blacks, just stay your ass out the way. Stay in the house. This is our fucking country. Nigga want to play crazy in America, that's going to be the downfall of them. They going to get fucked up. Not us. We not scared. I'm damn sure not.
If you disagree with Charlie Kirk, if you disagree with the way he's being eulogized, the way he's being held up, I understand that. But right now, I'm telling you the temperature is way too hot. And I believe that there are going to be people with batteries in their backs.
Too hot.
Based on what has happened.
They ain't seen too fucking high. Nobody said that shit. We ain't talking about the motherfucking George Floyd contest, the Trayvon Martin contest, mocking Brown Tate. All that mocking. Nobody said, no. Like Malcolm said, the chicken's coming home to roost. You can't Elijah Muhammad us tell us be quiet. No. They ain't deserve no time in the morning. Fuck them. They only gonna go after the weak. No, the hell with them. This is what they fucking deserve. They deserve for us to hold that mirror up to their face and say, you dirty bastards, look what you did to yourself. You don't know the Lord. Quit trying to wrap y'all arms. You're trying to wrap yourself into the teachings. We taught y'all. We told y'all about that and y'all just used it against the fucking word. You fucking don't know nothing about those books. They don't know nothing. Fucking pagans. Idol worshipers. not gonna play religious with us. Hell no, man. We ain't going for none of that shit. Revolutionary salute. That's serious business, bro. Man, I'm not playing that shit. Revolutionary salute. Queen Lala go harder for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is way of life. Absolutely appreciate the love, Queen. Salute. I mean every fucking thing I'm saying. I'm not playing. We're not playing. It's not no game. It's not a fire drill. This the real motherfucking deal. We on go. We done took the brakes off. Motherfucking nigga. Green light, everything. No red light, no yellow light. Nigga, they got us fucked up. They need to understand the unthinkable. Like my little brother used to say, I'm unthinkable. It's whatever. Whatever you can imagine, we going there with you. So we gotta let them know the best thing for them to do is suck it up and don't look at us. Because you're gonna fucking pay for it. You're gonna pay for it. Leave us alone.
A certain kind of way. I don't think we've seen this. I don't think we've seen this level of, I can't remember an incident where we saw this level of frustration, anger, pain, agony from the conservative right. And all I'm saying is,
that's one of their greatest bigots.
Walk accordingly.
They put a lot of
act accordingly. There is nothing cowardly about acting accordingly.
It's cowardly not.
When I was in LA for the first time,
cowardly not to stand your ground.
The last time, only been in LA.
Man said, when it's time to say something, you got this a time for peace and a time for war. We've been very peaceful. It's time for war. We gotta let them know. We letting them know. This is us letting them know. Don't go any further. You're not prepared for what's ahead. That's what we letting them know. And we letting the racist liberal Democrats know we watching y'all racist bastards vote for a Charlie Kirk day. We letting them know. We letting them all know. And no, we don't know. I don't want them to guess what's on our mind. I want them to know what's on our mind so they can make the right fucking decision. They got a chance. Just go to school, raise their fucking families. That family life they're talking about, you got an opportunity for that. All that shit go up in flames. You get to lynching black people and killing black people, threatening black colleges, running up in black church. That's just an end to all the fucking American dreams. We not playing.
LA once. I was on a train and I wanted to go take a look around. I was going to go on a Dr. Phil show, and I got there a day or two earlier because they paid for me to come out. And I had on a New York Yankee hat, and I was on a train. And some of you know the story, but for those that don't know. So I'm on a train, and I'm wearing this Yankee hat, and a brother comes up to me and says, man, don't wear that hat here, bro. And I'm like, he's like, yeah, man, it's not safe. I said, man, thank you. I took that hat off and put it in my bag. Not because I was a coward, not because I couldn't stand on business. I don't own the Yankees. I don't know if you know this. I don't own the Yankees. I don't play for the Yankees. I'm not even from New York. It just went with my outfit. And even if I was from New York, I don't own New York. I took that hat off because I did not need any problems. And that's why I'm extending you the same type of support, love, and
see, that's the difference. We want all the smoke. We want all the smoke. There's a difference. We do want all problems with racist bastards. We don't want I don't want no racist bastards thinking I don't want no problems, then they go lynch some innocent person. You can start with me. You can get right to me. You can come to me. Malcolm could have took that route too and said, you know what? The whites do feel a certain way about John F. Kennedy, and I don't want to tell these people that they bigots and they hypocrites and they murder all over this world. Murder has finally come back to them. Something they put out, they reap what they sowed. Malcolm could have said, you know what? Let me just not tell the truth. But he knew that was wrong. He knew what heavy is the head that wear the crown. You got leadership. You got to be responsible. You're responsible for telling the truth to these people. The chicken's coming home to roost. He was put out the Nation of Islam for that. And they turned on him forever. Because he told the truth. After Elijah said, nobody say nothing. The whites are mourning. What Elijah really meant was, these whites will kill us. We have to go to war over this. Malcolm didn't give a fuck about going to war. He was a young warrior. That's what he wanted. And they put that camera in his face. How do you feel? He didn't have to think. He didn't have to wonder. He forgot that they were supposed to be playing like they didn't want no smoke. And he told the truth. The chickens coming home to roost. So at a time like this, we're dealing with the whites. They up in arms. They acting crazy. And people want to know, well, how do y'all feel about Charlie Kirk? The damn chickens is coming home to roost. Period. We don't even got to think about that.
I'm looking out for you by saying this. I get nothing out of saying this. This does not benefit me. There's nothing in it for me. Just like it was nothing in it for that brother on that train in LA who told me that. And all I'm saying is, in the same way, you don't need these problems. When you go to work tomorrow,
no problem.
If you still up, I don't know how you're going to get up.
What's the problems? Well, I see, I'm thinking opposite. I'm thinking they don't need these problems. So I'm thinking whoever up against us, they don't need them problems. I'm not thinking I don't need the problems of the white supremacists. I think the most I don't think like that. I'm thinking it's no way in hell they want with this smoke that we got prepared for their motherfucking ass. I want them to know that. Don't listen to this, brother. I'm thinking you are not ready for all hell to break loose because we will go blank, snap, and just do everything and ask for forgiveness later. That's a fact. If we go nuts, we're going to go crazy, and then we're going to ask for forgiveness for what we've done after it's over.
Maybe you work a little later. They ain't got to be there until 9 or 10 or whatever. I don't know. Don't take your head off. Put your hat in your bag. If you're online and you see a post and you want to go in, put your hat in your bag. Ain't nothing wrong with putting your hat in your bag. Wait till you back home amongst friends and wear it, turn it around, prop it up, bend the rim, do whatever you want to do with it. When you get home, it's way too hot right now. It's way too hot right now. I have not seen this level.
Damn, he done scared my boy, man. He must have been getting some emails, but he been riding every day. This boy got some emails. See that? Look, this is emails. They after him. They let him know we found out where you at. See the problem? I feel his brother. He ain't never fired no shot. He ain't never shot nothing before. That's the problem. You supposed to be giving the news, brother. Let us, the fighters, let us dictate this time. You don't tell the warriors what the fuck to say. You just give us the news. What's happening? Don't you tell us what to say to these people. Boy, we ready for this work. We big steppers. We don't step on these people, bro. What's wrong with you? We can't wait to get more glory. Do you know how much glory we can get? It's right around the corner. They make one more fucking mistake, and it's over for them.
Conservative Christian momentum, anger, fury, angst, sorrow. Since 9/11.
Nah, we don't have no angst, no sorrow, no fear. We don't have none of them symptoms. We don't have
since 9/11. That's what I'm comparing it to. I'm comparing this to 9/11.
Well, shit.
Not January 6th.
Fuck it.
That's goofy.
Fuck it.
9/11.
Whatever. What they want to do.
Do not.
We ain't the Arabs. What they want to do.
Put yourself, and that doesn't mean we ain't got to argue what's justified, what's wrong, and these are not concepts Black people need to be beat down with. It doesn't matter why. Right ain't got nothing to do with it. Deserve has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. Be uncompromising about things that really matter. This doesn't really matter to you. It should not.
Yes,
and if it does, ask yourself.
If Charlie Kirk is a civil rights leader, we don't have no civil rights leaders, nigga. And there ain't nothing to teach our kids. Charlie Kirk is Malcolm X and Fred Hampton and Huey P. and Malcolm X, Dr. King. Fuck no. And his wife ain't Betty Shabazz and she ain't Coretta Scott King. Period. We don't give a fuck how they feel. We're going to say that shit to their face. What they want to do. That's what I'm talking about. What you talking about? It's dangerous. Man, it been dangerous. See, boy, it ain't been dangerous. The blackface crooked clown that kill every day. Man, every day you're blessed to get home and go to sleep, wake up. Fuck it. We on bar time. Fuck these people. No, we will not let Charlie Kirk be lionized as no fucking civil rights icon who preach peace. That's a fucking lie in our lifetime. We know that. He's David Duke. He's Hitler's nephew, preaching hate the superiority of the fucking white man, advanced version. Hell no. Everybody, man, they're against gun violence. I'm not against you reaping what you fucking sowing and the ways of sin still being death. I can easily say that on TV. That's easy. No, I'm not for you reaping what you sowing. If I'm against that, I got to throw out all the teachers of the elders and the biblical teachers. If I'm not for you reaping what you sow, what did Charlie sow? What did he sow? It wasn't peace. It wasn't peace. Hatred, bigotry. Huh? He antagonized people with his racist rhetoric. And that's what came back and bit him in the ass and took him out of here. Oh, it's a time to say that. Yeah, anytime they ask you, you say it. That's the time. Anytime they want to know it.
Why is it so important that you would want to walk out on a limb on this issue?
Ain't no walking on a limb. Just stand up for your fucking self and not being pushed around. This is the one. This thing matter more than anything. You let these people bully you about this? What the fuck you gonna stand up for? They saying he like all of our great leaders. Fuck no. We can't do that. We can't let this bigot. No, I'll be damned, bro. They just voted for that man to get his own day of mourning. Are you crazy? No, fuck no. He ain't getting that, bro. And ain't no, that's my boy Tim Black, but ain't no content creators gonna do it. Man, we going to wall behind this type of shit. We don't fuck about these people. We ain't scared of these people. I guess I'm not. Y'all, I ain't fuck that shit. I don't see them as that. I don't think of them as that. I don't think of them as watch out for them. Fuck them. That's what I see them as. Victims. Cowards. They got picked on and bullied. Now they want to be in a lynch party or they're not a real man. They don't want to look you eye to eye, but nobody said fuck no. They hoping some whacked up lunatic on pills and medication run into these churches, run into these stores, drive by and shoot our people. That type of shit. They ain't gonna win no war like that. They cowards. They cowards. They don't want.
Ask yourself why.
Nah, we ain't scared of them.
Do not let anybody on TikTok, X, Facebook, YouTube get you so riled up that you're willing to jeopardize yourself, the safety of you, your family, your job, you're
already not safe when the whites are up in arms and they looking to lynch something. You got to stand your ground like some of our elders did. All the elders did. A lot of elders fought back city to city. A lot of elders was fighting. Even when they was burning down Black Wall Street, it was other elders, and some of the elders that shot. But it was other cities where they put up barricades and was shooting back. It was days worth of shootouts. We had some elders like, man, fuck that shit. We always had elders like us who said, oh, fuck that shit. Boy, kissing their ass. They ain't finna do us like that. There was always some men amongst us, like right now. Like, we don't give a fuck about their feelings. They shouldn't embrace this bastard. Shouldn't be antagonizing people. Man, the hell you had their feelings. They ain't never gave a damn about none of our feelings. Man, you treat people how you want to be treated. They got to look. Treat us how you deserve to be treated. You understand that? They didn't.
Your career, your education, whatever, over this moment.
Nah, the white's gonna fire you.
Don't lose your
education, don't lose your career. Then your sorry ass don't deserve no education, no career. If you gotta let whites bully you, that's just a fact. You don't deserve shit. You is a fucking coward if you got to just suck it up. Like it's 1930. You got to just shut up and let them racist bullies say anything to you because you got to feed your family. Oh, what? That's dirty money. You might well be selling crack. You might well be a fucking drug dealer. You taking that dirty, cowardly money. You might well sell fentanyl. You ain't no better. You got dirty money on your fucking hands. I want you to know that. And y'all like that just shutting up. I mean, I don't want to get fired. Bitch, you might well get you some work. Go get your brick because you ain't no better. You taking dirty money.
And put your hat in your bag and get off at your stop. Elizabeth says, I live by pick your battles. That's all I'm saying. Now, these are all the thoughts. See, this is what I like. Man.
That's the biggest battle of our lifetime, nigga. They're trying to say something.
This is what I like, man. I think
what battle is bigger? I mean, what battle is bigger? Salute. What's the big? I see this. I think I've been riding on this every day. This is crystal clear. They threatening bloggers. I ain't got no message yet. They skip right over me because they bitch ass already know what time it is. We'll meet them at every cemetery near them till we can do this, and we don't need to waste no time. Whoever lose out, you right where you need to fucking be. You just tell your family, come on out there, nigga, have your services, bro. But it's the best battle. All them people talk about, now let's pick our battles wisely. Oh, you scared that you gonna get fired from your job for speaking up about black people and talking good about Dr. King and Malcolm? Look, we got our problem with Dr. King. I got my problem with the civil rights. But they was way better people than this dude, man. I swear to God, fam. I'm standing on that, bro. We have a problem. We call a lot of them bootlickers. They way better than this dude. They better people than this dude. They better human beings than Charlie Kirk was. These motherfuckers, Charlie was just a good man. That's a fucking lie. Them civil rights brothers and sisters, them were some good people. He mocked them. He called them fucking communists. So people can look down on them like they the lowest of the low. Hell no, we gonna defend those brothers and sisters. Good goddamn name. We said they wasn't revolutionary enough. That don't mean we gonna let those people just piss on them and throw dirt on their name and do them any type of way. Not while I'm alive. That ain't gonna happen.
The same boat. You see what I see. What I'm saying is how this whole thing is impacting other people. That matters.
No,
sometimes we got to read the room.
No, it do not. Shit been always impacting. Look, we don't give a fuck who impacted by us. Just feeling us stand up for ourselves. And if the blacks who don't fight back, we don't give your ass to be collateral damage. You should have been fighting with us. You should have been fighting with us. You should have been back to back with us. And so you just, they weren't even doing nothing. They came to my house, the Ku Klux Klan, and beat me up. Yeah, because you want to be you want the good ones. You want to be one of the good ones. I don't understand cult figure. He taking it too far. Ain't no fucking too far. Ain't no too far. And we plant our flag in this right here. Charlie Kirk is a piece of shit hypocrite, bro, who antagonized people and was a racist bastard who never could be Dr. King, never could be Malcolm, never could be Huey P, never could be Khaled, never could be Fred Hampton. Never. Not his wildest dreams. But we got blacks telling us to be quiet while they lionize him and while the congressional black shoe shiners go along with it. Fuck no, nigga. We ready to get busy. We don't need their permission to take a step.
We got to be able to walk into a room and read it. What's going to be beneficial for us at this time? That's all I'm speaking from.
To stand up straight.
A month from now?
A month from now.
Say how you want to say it. Put it how you want to put it.
Say it right now.
But, there's a time and place. I'm up here for the people. And I'm saying the people right now, we don't need this. We do not need this, fam. Tim wearing New York hat, neighborhood Crips. See, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know that. Look, fam, I wasn't from there. And I didn't know it was Crip. I didn't know anything about this. I did not know it. Look. Shakira, she said Klan rally.
The Tim Black Show streams Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Yeah, my boy Tim really went out. That was some BS, Tim. That's serious business, brother. I'm gonna just leave that right there. I can't believe that brother telling people just let this one go. And then we'll talk about what? We don't want to hear nothing else. Black content creators, they better stand on this because the ones on regular TV, they're not going to do it. So we got to do it and tell the truth and fight back while they dragging blacks, mocking blacks, trying to get blacks killed and lynched. It's not time to be silent.
My subs and supporters who watch, like, share, and comment on the videos is greatly appreciated. Anybody who would like to support the channel, the link to my book, The N-Word is No Secret in the Service, is in the description of every video. We also have the Runaway Slave store, link in the description. Go grab yourself a souvenir or something like that. Let's cook. I think that by now most black people realize something, even if they don't want to admit it. I don't even think a black person in America has a choice anymore. And that is that white people, white Americans as a whole, in totality, they just want to be racist. They just want to practice a religion of white supremacy. They just want to be Zionists. Bottom line. And there are many examples of this to give irrefutable proof that this is the case. It is what it is. Let it go. All this America first, all you patriotic Negroes, let it go. You're making yourself look like a fool. Okay, all this, I'm leaving the Democrat plantation to be a Dixie chick for these white conservatives. Stop being a whore. Let it go. Stop making a fool of yourselves. These white people have you out looking like an idiot, okay? All you BLM, rainbow, Democrat, party-loving, liberal Negroes, it's over. There is no place for you to fit in at. White Americans just want to be racist. And we've seen a lot of proof of this with this whole Kirk assassination, okay? A white supremacist taken out by white people like him, and white guys respond acting like this.
Go get a gun, Brad. Go get a gun. Fight back. Hard streets. Hard streets. Hard streets. Hard land. Fuck you all. White man. Fight back. White man. Fight back. White man. Fight back. Fight back. Our home. Take back our land.
Nah, we gonna this what happens when you be quiet, bro. If you just be quiet and mind your own business, you had these clowns walking around the street near you hollering, "Why you trying to have a burger? You trying to get some gas in your car?" Lunatics walking by you hollering, "White man, start back." They don't let somebody sooner or later, bro. It's only natural. They building up the anxiety. Ooh, they getting crunk. They in the air. Then a little brother. They find the weakest amongst us. Up you go. They beat you. Oh, and it have been several fucking times lately. Younger whites they done caught several little college and high school age brothers and beat them, jumped them. You can tell little brothers wasn't tough, so they trying to size brothers up. See, it don't look like he too rough. Then they on your ass. Fuck no. So we gotta let them know. Okay, cool. We definitely looking for y'all. And if you catch a pack like this, oh man, I'll feel for my motherfucking life. I gotta use extreme measures to get up out of this type of wolf pack. Anything go. There's a bunch of unbelievable like that.
Charlie
We fucking him up. There ain't no protest, bro. There ain't no protest. Ain't no pulling up and yelling. I've seen a few brothers get. No. Ain't no time for that, brother. You gonna pull up on them? Don't have your phone on you on all that type of. You feel for your life, right? So you know what you got to do, bro. But holler and yell now. You got to be high. Help as you handling business. Help! No! Get off me! Bow, bow, bow! Please don't lynch me! No! Bow, bow, bow!
And the white community responds by ignoring what happened, ignoring, who did this to their white hero, and they just go focusing and shifting their attention on black people and being a racist, okay? They're focusing on black people who are making a joke of this. They're focusing on black people who are making posts or saying things like they don't care, pretty much acting like how this Kirk guy did when he seen what happened to George Floyd. They shift their focus to that as opposed to looking at the problem with violence within their community, okay? That's cowardly. That's cowardly. They're not even focusing on who did this to him and why. Let's go with him now. Let's talk about black people. These people have such a burning desire to be a white supremacist, to be a Satanist, that they're focusing on black people. They can't help it. It's a sickness of the heart. It's a spiritual illness. All that America first, patriotic talk from these conservative white people, it's all a bunch of bull, okay? It's all a bunch of bull because all these morals and principles, so-called, in this America first stuff, all that goes out the window when it's time to address real issues. When it's time to talk about why all this money, all your money is going to BB. Okay, all that goes out the window because you're a bunch of cowards. They want to go pick on an old black woman with a bullhorn or a sign, or even a lot of black people who just want to be their friend. You know what I'm saying? All that goes out the window. Looking for soft targets, attacking people. You know what I'm saying? All that goes out the window when it's time to approach your real issue. That's why nobody respects you. Cowards. America First is a slogan created to build camaraderie, to practice racism, hate, and that's it. All that never forget America First, all them little white slogans, they are to build camaraderie, to be violent and racist towards black people. That's it. These people will never focus their attention on the real issues that they have because they're cowards. They won't focus their attention on all those children that are being abused by them, you know, touching children, doing things to children, all these conservative patriot guys. You won't focus your attention on that.
The number one offender type is biological fathers, but by far it is being done by middle-aged Caucasian men. Many, over half of them, college graduates. Many of them are educated, good jobs. This isn't just who.
Come on, man. Come on, man. This is a living legend. This is a living football icon, Tim Tebow. The Christian white saint. They idolize him. They put the muzzle on him lately since he been saying stuff like this. They're like, we don't like them stats. Tim Tebow was feeling full of the Lord that day and told the truth. Yahweh touched his heart. He said the number one offender and abuser, the biggest problem in America, one of the biggest problems he did. That's what he said. Is the children are being abused, you heard him, by middle-aged white men. Middle-aged white. See, did Charlie Kirk not know that stat? Why Charlie? Charlie supposed to been saying that. He had all the numbers. He crunched all the numbers except this one. Did he not? I'm pretty sure he had. Did he not get the email? Is he so busy he didn't get to sit down and do these statistics that one of the biggest problems plaguing America was the abuse of children by middle-aged white men. Now, I would think Charlie Kirk trying to help white America and the biggest problem that's plaguing white America, sexual assault and sexual deviance being done to white America's babies by white men. Now, I would say, damn, now that's strange. Because it seems to me that they were so used to abusing children during the days of the wicked and bondage of our people that they could do whatever they want. Because remember, there wasn't no child abuse stats during slavery. You understand that? They didn't keep the statistics on how many of our young girls and boys was sexually assaulted by these perverts. That when we got our freedom and liberation by freedom fighters like my ancestor Thomas Daniel Sr., who fought in the Civil War, when people like Thomas Daniel Sr. fought, and y'all ancestors too, y'all need to get those names, to free us and liberate us, because we got liberated by the hands of black people. When they fought to free us, then these perverts, they didn't have all the access they used to have at our kids. But they so wicked and so perverse, so lustful, that maybe they had been doing it to their own. They probably had, some of them. But since they didn't have the access to ours in large bunches like they used to, they're like Tim Tebow saying, from slavery up into today, Tim Tebow giving that stat, they was the number one abuser of children in America were white middle-aged men. Come on, Charlie Kirk. Why you didn't tell us that?
Who we're thinking about, like they're technical savvy, and I think that it is time that we call them out, like that we can't stand by and stand back. Like we have to stand up and say,
stand up. I'm riding with Tebow on this. That's for real. You know what? I'm riding with Tim Tebow. I don't even fuck with Tebow like that. You know, it's like a little fruity to me. But that's here nor there. Well, we'll edit that out this good clip. But I want Tebow to feel offended, y'all, because he's doing great work right here. I shouldn't have said that about the man. That's great work. That's what we got to stand up to. We have had a campaign. Charlie Kirk should have been going from city to city and state to state, championing, fighting back for the kids.
Not only are we not doing our job as men, it's actually the opposite. Instead of being defenders and protectors of our families, we're hurting and abusing. You want to read some? Okay to share those. Okay.
This forum is entitled Force Baby and has 50 members / contributors. The specific forum has been active for nearly 2 years. Offender 1, what are you into? Offender 2, mainly 5 to 9, but anything goes. Offender 3, I'm 60 and a very violent man. No isn't an option. Offender 4, hello all. How are my fellow friends today? Offender 2, I have 20 TB terabytes. Oh my gosh. I have 20 terabytes of baby video new for 2023 vids available. DM me and I will give you a good price. Offender 3, do you have any baby videos? I have a problem. I want it all the time and love new stuff. Offender 2, yes, DM me. I have a great supply and can help guide you how to do it. Offender 3, yes, me too. DM me and I could show you how to abuse your own kids and get away with it. It's the life of a true. Offender 4, oh man, I'm not even going to read this. I love their. I have a daughter. I would love. And it goes on. This is what we're facing. Yeah. It's what we're facing in our backyard.
Why aren't you focusing on that, Whitey? Why ain't you focusing on that? So you take all that focus and energy, putting all this America first, white man stand-up talk, is all just to be a racist. You're still chasing your desires. You're not going to do anything to people in your community who are doing this to the small people in your community because you're a bunch of cowards. And you white liberals, just as disgusting. You are all the same people, different ideas, same bottom line. Black people have to use their imagination and smoke pounds of the most potent opium to believe that white liberals are with them or they're with the black community. These white liberals are so racist. You can't even think of a time that they even mention anything concerning black people and rectifying black people's issues and systemic racism that was created by them without mentioning a rainbow organization in the same sentence or other weirdo groups, people who want to chop their genitals off and all kind of other nasty stuff. How sad is that? These white liberals convince black people and their bootleg black influencers that get a check that they are some better version of white people and their bottom line is the same. Yet they can't even mention black people, okay, without including some weird crackers who form the identity in a political party based on a sex act. That's it. They bamboozle black people. That's how much they don't have respect for you. That's how low of humanity they look at black people. They can't even mention anything that has to do with black people without mentioning people who politicize the sex act. That's disgusting. And many of you Negroes went for it, okay? Many of them went for it. They can't mention racism, systemic racism, discrimination, white supremacy, none of that without talking about trans and LGG and all this other stupid stuff. How does that even add up? If you're a black person who's been in America, whose family has been in America, who moved to America since like the 1500, whatever, you know what I'm saying? How does that make sense? These white liberals, they can't even mention black people or anything for black people unless they include rainbow in the same sentence or abortion. That's racist, that's sick, and that's disrespectful and ignorant. And that's really bamboozling a lot of black folks, okay? I think that more so the black sellouts and celebrities, you know, influence us a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? So many of our people have helped the white community split into fractions. We did that. A lot of us did that. Help the white community split into fractions, acting as if, oh, they don't all have the same goal. One of them hurts our feelings more, so we're going to like them, the other one's a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And using black celebrities to promote that message. Oh, these guys, they hurt my feelings. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on their lap. You know what I mean? Running around helping these white supremacists for so many years, convince people that there are two fractions and one is better than the other. How's that working for us? Absolutely nowhere. Okay? These people have no choice but to admit, you know, that, listen, white Americans don't want to do anything but be a racist and a white supremacist. Irrefutable evidence out right now. It's nothing nobody could say. I don't care if during the journey, some white people gave you a sugar cookie or whatever. Of course, there are always going to be white people who have been nice to us, who have done nice things. For some of us, not at all, though, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be a unicorn. White people know that. It's always going to be a white unicorn. I'm talking about the bottom line. A black person has to lie like a politician to try to make it a point that there are two fractions of white people and one is better than the other. No proof, no results of anything different. The evidence is irrefutable. You tried super hard. You tried to get your Roland Martins, your Joy Reids, your Tyler Perrys, and Will Smith, and all these other fags, and these liberal crackers, Jesse Dolmore, Obama. You tried super hard to convince people that white Americans don't have one goal, which is white supremacy, Satanism, Zionism. Bottom line. If not, show otherwise. How's that working? White people in general only want to mess with you, okay? In general, only want to deal with black people when they can make money off of them. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's business. We got to think the same way, though. It's business. You know what I'm saying? I get the business stuff, but our minds don't work like that. It's business. But if you're cooning and berating your own people and calling out the dysfunction of your own people every day, and that's all you do for white people to kind of be okay with you, you worse than a Dixie chick, man. You a grown man, but you disgusting. You're worse than a Dixie chick. And there's a lot of these conservative Negroes out now doing that. It's burnt out. They're being exposed, and the value for them is going away more and more. I can't see how some of these guys are just popping up, trying to do it now so late, so slow, trying to just, convince black people that, oh, you're on a Democrat plantation. Now you got to go to this one. You slow. It's over. It don't work. You're doing the same thing that they did. You know what I'm saying? But by doing it, you have to continuously call out a dysfunction and berate your own people to do that. You're disgusting. You're a Dixie chick, whoever you may be. Okay? White people basically only deal with black people when they're acting like a coon, like people with these platforms, temporarily, running up and down the field, making them millions of dollars, or pushing the homo agenda. That's it. You know it. You just don't want to let it go. And it hurts many of our people's little Negro feelings. I'm not talking about you, the listener. You probably ain't like that, but you got people like that maybe in your family or whatever. It's over. There's no other way. You have to dumb yourself down and have a dream to think otherwise. It's right in front of your face. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, people, easy.
Debunked. Now, in that video, I was attacking a common talking point you hear from certain conservative commentators, right? The black community, black men are X amount of the population committing X amount of the crimes. And of course, in that video, we went deep into that topic, debunked that topic, deconstructed that topic. Check it out. Now, today's video is going to be a follow-up video to that one. It's still going to be talking about crime in America, but we're going to be focused on a different demographic. We love talking about black men, and, black men always get the spotlight. But today, I want to share some of that spotlight with some other demographics. I don't want to hog up all the airtime. We love talking about black men all goddamn day. So I want to step off the stage, and I want to allow some other demographics to get on center stage, right? Now, like I said, a common talking point of certain conservative media personalities is that black men are X amount of the population committing X amount of the violent crimes, right? That's why they go around saying things like 1350 and things like that. So when it came to me, I came with a different numerical equation. I came with the 2977. Now, what is the 2977? 2977, I get that from the stats that came directly from the federal sentencing data, right? Which means that white males are 29% of the U.S. population, and they make up 77% of the individuals convicted on certain crimes against children, right? And I feel like they spend so much time talking about black men, but we never have conversations about other demographics. So I want to take it upon myself. I'll start the conversation. Since nobody else wants to have the conversation, I'll go ahead and do it. Now, when you look at those numbers, 29% of the population committing 77% of any crime, it doesn't matter. You are way overrepresented. That is ridiculous, right? So that's what I mean by 2977. So we're going to go in deep on this topic. We're going to go to certain data that comes from the government, certain research papers, and we're going to go to a series of news stories that came out recently, and we're going to examine what are these socioeconomic realities, the cultural realities that drive this phenomenon. So not wasting no time, let's get into it. Now, when you examine the data that's available, the first thing you'll realize is this. There's high male representation, right? Over 90% of those sentenced for child pornography offenses are men. So that's a shame. But when you go even deeper, right? Now, time out. Now, because I don't want to keep saying the word child pornography in my video, because it's even disgusting for me to say, I'm just going to say exploitation material, right? That's what I'm going to say instead of just repeating that over and over throughout the video. So I'm going to say exploitation material instead. So let's continue. Now, as you can see, over 90% are men. But when you go down even deeper to the demographics, it says white individuals are overrepresented in exploitation material cases. And statistics from the U.S. Sentencing Commission show that they make up the largest racial group of offenders. For example, a 2023 report on federal exploitation material cases indicated that 77.1% of the offenders were whites. The average offender is typically in their late 30s to early 40s, is often single, and tends to have more education and higher income than other types, right? So as you can see, like I mentioned in my video yesterday, when you examine the crime that takes place in the black community, you notice that it's mainly relegated and condensed into the lower rung of society, right? On the economically marginalized fringes of society, that's where the crime is highly concentrated. But when you examine these crimes, you notice that it's not often the economically disadvantaged sectors of society. It's actually those who have an education, you know, those who went to school, those who got some money, those who have a property, those who are on paper, at least on the surface, productive members of society, but they're engaged in certain nefarious activity behind the scenes, right? So it's very weird. Usually, you know, crime is supposed to be amongst the economically disadvantaged, but in this culture, crime is happening at all levels of society, right? All the way at the top down to the bottom. All type of crime is going down. You know, just criminality all over the place. Now let's continue. Now let's head over to the United States Sentencing Commission, right? Coming straight from the government. Now, as you can see, for those who were sentenced for exploitation material cases, 98% were men, 77% were whites, 12.8% Hispanic, 5.8% black, 4.3% other races. Now, before I get started, I just want to make something very clear. I want to give a disclaimer, right? I'm not saying that any one community has a monopoly over any type of crime or predatory behavior. We already know every group has individuals engaged in all type of nefarious activity. What I'm talking about in this presentation is the overrepresentation of a certain demographic, right? Compared to your share of the overall population, to your share of arrests and convictions in certain categories of crime, right? So when you see one demographic show up consistently more than you'd expect in a certain sector of crime, that's simply all we're talking about, right? So we're going to be examining the numbers, the data, the patterns, the research, right? That's all I'm doing, right? So anyway, let's continue. Let's get into it. Now, Dr. Kevin Steinmetz, a professor, a sociologist, anthropologist, he actually wrote an article conducting research on the topic specifically. The article was entitled, "Exploring the Explanations for the White Overrepresentation in Online Child Sex Abuse and Exploitation." And some of the findings that he came to in his research was that one of the main drivers was opportunity and access. It said that in the early years, when, you know, child exploitation material first began popping on the internet and online, white males had a large amount of access to home internet, personal computers, and credit cards in the early years. So they were pretty much the ones who were the earliest and the first to the game in terms of the internet. So once the internet first began, you know, blowing up back in the late 90s, early 2000s, these guys went straight to watching child porn, right? So anyways, they also mentioned the cultural factors, right? Certain online communities evolved in forums that were frequented by white middle-class males, which suggests that there was a cultural affinity in terms of the patterns, right? So that's some of the findings that Dr. Steinmetz found in his research. Right now, let's continue. I'm going to go over to another paper, this one titled Child Exploitation Material Possessors, the Trends in the Offender and the Case Characteristics, right? Take a look up on the screen. In many respects, the possessors of exploitation material arrested in 2006 were similar to those arrested back in 2000. They were virtually all men, and the great majority were non-Hispanic whites. They were not concentrated in any particular geographic location. Their levels of education and income were similar in both years and ranged widely. Few had backgrounds that included mental illness, violence, substance abuse, or prior arrests for sexual or other offenses. Few cases involved multiple offenders. Although the number of arrests for the crimes involving exploitation material possession more than doubled between 2000 and 2006, the population of offenders and the dynamics of the offenses remained stable in many respects. So between 2000 and 2006, the arrests for those engaged in this type of behavior, it more than doubled, right? And the internet, obviously from 2000 and 2006, obviously became more widespread. So as the internet became more widespread, this activity became more widespread. But they said that the population and the demographics of the offenders remained the same. So that tells me that as internet use became more widespread amongst the population, you would think that this level of activity or criminal activity would rise amongst the general population of men in general. But they noticed that it was only one demographic of men that was driving the activity, right? It was one demographic that was the main producers, distributors, and consumers of the activity. So that's what they find in their research. Now let's continue. Now, this is coming from the Home Office, I believe, out in the UK. Now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the Home Office in the UK is like the equivalent of in the United States, we have the Department of Homeland Security, I think, right? Anybody from the UK, let me know if I'm correct, right? But anyway, they said this: most child sex abuse gangs are made up of white men, according to the Home Office, right? That's what the government out in the UK is saying. It said it found that while offenders come from diverse backgrounds, groups tended to be of men of the same ethnicities. Money and sex were the motivations, as well as a sexual interest in children and misogyny. Now let's get into another research paper entitled From Child Pornography Offending to Child Sexual Abuse, a review of child pornography offender characteristics and a risk for a crossover. They said this when it came to demographics. There is some consensus about the demographic characteristics of child pornography offenders. For example, studies report that offenders tend to be primarily white, aged between 25 and 50 years old, and compared to child sexual abusers, they're more likely to be employed. With regard to intellectual functioning, a considerable amount of child pornography offenders have above average intelligence. In several studies, about 30% had completed higher education, right? So these are men who, like Tim Tebow said, these are men who have jobs, good jobs. These are men who, probably got a few dollars, who have higher education, and in their free time, they like to engage in this type of activity, right? Now, let's continue. Now, just like in my video yesterday, where I showed you a bunch of different news stories, recent news stories about a bunch of black men who received exonerations, who are freed from prison for crimes they did not commit. I'm going to do the same thing in this case. I'm going to show you a bunch of news stories, recent stories that are related to the topic we're talking about today, right? So not wasting no time. We spoke about this in the video last week, right? A Charleston County magistrate judge charged with possessing child exploitation material, right? This individual right here, judge accused of having child abuse materials. A judge down in South Carolina. Now, let's continue. August 2025, a New Hampshire police officer arrested and charged with child exploitation offenses. This individual right here. The feds charge a man who worked as a Seabrook police officer with receiving child exploitation material, right? As you can see, looks like a regular guy walking down the street. Now, take a look up on the screen. According to the charging documents, on October 16, 2024 to October 17, 2024, Gia Russo knowingly received video files depicting child abuse on Kik. I think that's a social media app. It is alleged that the victims in these videos appear to be approximately 5 years old to 11 years old, right? So this guy, you know what I mean? He's not attracted to grown women, beautiful women. Nah, that's not for him. That's not for him. Give him the 5-year-olds and the 6-year-olds. That's more his speed, right? That's what he's into. That's what gets him excited. He don't want a beautiful woman, beautiful, shapely woman, nice shape, nice figure. No, he don't want that. He not into that. No. Right. Anyway, let's continue. June 2025, a federal agent has been charged with the production of child exploitation material. Right. These are all recent cases. And you notice they're all law enforcement so far, judges, sheriffs and police officers. And this guy, an agent of Homeland Security, as you can see, right? Timothy Ryan Gregg, 51 years old, coerced a minor and produced child exploitation material. According to the court documents, Timothy Ryan Gregg attempted, coerced, and enticed a minor victim to take part in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing child exploitation material. According to court documents, the father of the minor victim discovered multiple sexually explicit images and videos on the minor victim's cell phone, right? So this guy, instead of doing his job as an agent of, Homeland Security, instead of protecting the American people, he is assaulting the children of the American people. Now let's continue. May 2025. Now you notice all of these cases happen in the past few weeks, past few months. A Minnesota state trooper, once again, law enforcement, police officer, judges, Homeland Security agents, state troopers, right? A Minnesota state trooper charged with the production of child exploitation material. This guy right here, Jeremy Polanski, charged with producing the material, right? Like I told you, the government breaks it down into different categories. You have those who are producing the material, the videographers, the producers, the video editors, right? These guys are on set with their cameras abusing children, right? Then you have those who are trafficking the material, right? Sending it around, distributing it, selling it for profit, things like that. And then you have those who are receiving it, the consumers, right? So it's like a whole chain, right? From the production to the consumption. So this guy, when he was off the clock as a state trooper, when he wasn't, serving and protecting the community, allegedly, his side job was producing exploitation material of children, right? That was his side gig. His side hustle was abusing children and selling the videos, right? That was his side hustle. Now let's continue. March 2025, a sheriff's deputy arrested on child exploitation charges. Like I said, every single story in the past few weeks, past few months has been law enforcement. From the judges to the cops on the street. A Steuben County Sheriff deputy who went by the name the AC Man 990 online faces child exploitation charges, right? This guy right here, right? So when he was off the clock, when he wasn't working as a cop, he was, indulging in child exploitation. Now let's continue. July 2025, a Montgomery County police officer charged in a child exploitation case. My God, that's this guy right here, right? So I don't know what's up with the policeman. I don't know what's up with law enforcement and this activity. But anyways, take a look up on the screen. September 2025, a Blount County Sheriff's Office employee arrested on child exploitation charges. He faces 11 counts involving child exploitation, including the dissemination of child sex material, transmitting obscene material, and electronic solicitation of a child. My goodness. Now, let's continue. August 2025, an Illinois State Police trooper arrested on federal child exploitation charges. This individual right here, right? I don't know what is up with these individuals and the police. Like I said, every single case has been a policeman. Now, take a look up on the screen. At the time of his arrest, agents executed a search warrant at his home where they found a 16 gigabyte flash drive inside a nightstand in his bedroom. In addition to a folder labeled with his government-issued email, another subfolder on the flash drive labeled as DIVX contained about 200 videos of children as young as 9 years old being sexually abused by adults. Now, let's continue. Former Covington Deputy Police Chief indicted on child exploitation charges. The new indictment comes more than a year after his previous trial ended in a hung jury. Now, basically what they're saying is this guy has been arrested again when just last year he beat a case, right? He beat the case last year, and now he's been arrested again on new charges, right? So he beat the case and went right back to watching the material. Goddamn. Anyway, let's continue. A former deputy chief with the Covington Police Department is now facing more child exploitation charges. 41-year-old Randall Mahon was indicted on 17 counts of possession of child exploitation material involving juveniles and 1 count of indecent behavior with the juvenile under the age of 13. He was already facing 5 counts of possession and 1 count of indecent behavior with a juvenile. Now let's continue. April 2025, a former sheriff's deputy sentenced to 65 years in prison for child sex crimes. This individual right here, right? Now let's continue. A healthcare executive who was a repeat purchaser of child exploitation material who insisted on being called daddy by minors, right? So this guy right here, he wanted little children, call me daddy, call me daddy, right? This guy, right? Anyway, let's get into his story. A Long Island healthcare executive contacted 11 teenage girls for sexually explicit material and obtained thousands of videos of child exploitation material. My goodness. Anyway, the Fed said they found more than 500 images and 5,000 videos of child material on his phone, the vast majority of them from a nationwide distribution ring. They also said that he messaged 11 girls from the ages of 14 to 17 on social media and enticed them into sending sexual content for him, and he paid them for it. Now, let's continue. May 2025, he founded an orphanage for vulnerable boys in Haiti and was sentenced to 210 years in prison. Let's get into it. At trial, 6 victims who lived at the orphanage testified about the sexual abuse and the physical assaults they suffered at the hands of Gallenfield. Now adults, the victims spoke about the devastating impact the abuse had on them, according to the release. The defendants' sustained sexual, physical, and emotional abuse of some of the most vulnerable children in the world is intolerable. Now, when you look under the headline, it said that Michael Gallenfield used his position of trust and access to exploit vulnerable children under the guise of humanitarian work, right? So that's why it's very insulting to me when these guys always talk about, oh man, we do so much charity. Look at all the charity we doing. When in reality, we know that a good chunk of y'all is simply coming over to engage in all type of nefarious behavior that you couldn't get away with in your home country, right? To have an easy access and supply to children that are in vulnerable situations that you can exploit for your own personal, pleasure and vices. Now, anyway, let's continue. Gallenfield was arrested in January 2024. In February 2025, a federal jury convicted him of 1 count of traveling in foreign commerce for the purpose of engaging in illicit sexual conduct and 6 counts of engaging in illicit conduct in a foreign place between 2005 and 2010. Gallenfield operated several orphanages in Haiti and also opened another in the Dominican Republic. Now, let's continue. A former charity operator guilty of sex tourism in Haiti. Take a look up on the screen. That's this guy right here, Matthew Andrew Carter, who also went by other names as William Charles Harcourt and Bill Carter. I guess he had a bunch of different identities and aliases. Anyways, he was finally jailed in 2013 in Florida for committing child abuse in Haiti. The abuse was committed at a Haitian Children's Help Center, the Morning Star Center, which Carter helped to run from 1995 to 2011. It provided shelter, food, and clothing and school tuition for Haitian children. Now, let's continue this story. A man who brought an 8-year-old girl to Canada as a sex slave has been sentenced to 18 years in prison. A 60-year-old Montreal man has been sentenced to 18 years in prison for bringing an 8-year-old girl from Ivory Coast to Canada and subjecting her to 3 years of sexual abuse. Now, listen, this is why we got to have this conversation, because this is not even about crime in the white community, because these guys do not keep their crime in the white community, right? It would be different if they were just abusing their own children, if they were just abusing the women in their own community and the boys in their own community. But these guys are taking their degeneracy and proclivities and they bringing it to our communities. They're bringing it to our countries. They're leaving their countries. They're hopping on flights across the world looking for our children. This guy left Montreal, hopped on an international flight, ended up in the villages of Ivory Coast looking for young girls and bringing them back and putting them in sexual slavery, right? And I don't know how they caught him, but somehow they caught him after many years. He done took this girl from the villages of Ivory Coast and brought her to Canada, and she had to be a sex slave for a random white man. This is crazy. Anyway, let's continue. December 2023, a missing teen has been found hidden under the trap door of the bedroom floor of a Kentucky man's house. Right? This guy right here, right? This guy, little girls going missing. This guy got little girls in bondage, trapped under the bedroom floor, right? Anyway, let's continue. A Green Oaks man has been arrested for sexually abusing a North Carolina girl. A 15-year-old child from North Carolina was rescued from a man in Green Oaks. On July 2024, the United States Marshals received information that a missing girl from Kannapolis, North Carolina, might be located at a house on the 31,000 block of Prairie Ridge Road in Green Oaks. Right now, that's this guy right here. Right, a missing 15-year-old girl is safe after she was rescued from an Illinois man's home who is now facing multiple felony charges for allegedly sexually abusing her. Andrew Sheck, 43 years old, allegedly encouraged the unidentified teenage girl to take a bus from where she lived to Chicago in July. The pair had been talking online since back in June. Once the teen arrived at the bus station, Andrew Scheck picked her up and brought her to his home, where he sexually abused her. On Thursday, the United States Marshals received a tip that she was possibly at his house. Officials witnessed Scheck leaving his house with the victim and took him into custody. Now, I remember this case, right? Take a look up on the screen. I remember this case because this girl was missing since back in February, right? Back in February 2024. And she wasn't found until like July 2024. So that's March, April, May, June, July, 5 months, right? So 5 months later, she was found in a whole different state, you know, getting sexually abused by a white man. Now, let's continue. A missing girl discovery. A man lured a 14-year-old Georgia girl to his home, right? Now, another case, take a look up on the screen. This girl right here went missing back in May 2023, right? And take a look up on the screen. Ashley was at home with the man named Russell Cheeves, 41 years old. The lead detective for the agency has charged Russell Cheeves with enticing a child for indecent purposes and interference with custody. He is currently incarcerated in Clayton County in connection with the crimes, right? Now, that's this girl right here. She was missing for weeks and weeks, and when they found her, she was just shacking up with some degenerate white man. Like I said, it would be different if they kept their crime in their community and it was just amongst their own people, but it's not. It's not. Not only are they doing it to their own people, but they're leaving where they're at. They're leaving their enclaves and communities, coming into our communities, locating our young girls and boys. That's why we have to talk about it. That's why we have to have a conversation, because they're leaving their communities, coming to our cities and countries and looking for our children. And these things go under the radar because nobody wants to have the tough conversation, right? Nobody wants to have the tough conversation when it comes to this demographic. You know, everybody, oh, the white man, but nobody wants to have real conversation though. Nobody wants to have real talk though, right? I don't understand. Now let's continue. A Connecticut federal judge orders the restitution to victims of a child sex abuser, right? Now that's this individual on the screen right here. Now, also like the other ones previous mentioned, he also left his community, went down to Haiti to come look for young children. In pleading guilty, Perlitz admitted that at various times between 2001 and 2008, he traveled from airports in the United States to Haiti to engage in illicit sexual conduct with minors, and he did in fact engage in sexual conduct with minor boys who attended school at PPT. Perlitz abused his position of authority to entice and persuade the minors to comply with the sex acts by providing them with the promise of food and shelter and other benefits, including cash, cell phones, electronics, shoes, clothes, and other items, right? Now, that's this guy right here, as you can see, left his community, left his city, left his country, going off in the countryside in Haiti, looking for young children, going out of his way to look for young children. Like, do you know how much work that is to book the flight, pack your bags, go to the airport, wait at the airport, wait in line, board the flight, get off the plane, you know, go all the way to the countryside and locate the children? Like, you had to do an extensive amount of work to find your victims. And that's what I mean. That's why we have to have a conversation about these 2977s, because they're not keeping that crime condensed in their own community. The crime is spreading out to other communities. It's spreading out to our young girls, our young boys. That's why we got to talk about it. Now let's continue. A former missionary sentenced for sexually exploiting children in Haiti. A man with ties to Liberty Hill gets 40 years for sexually abusing Haitian orphans. Now, let's get into it. In a press release issued on Wednesday, the United States Attorney's Office said that Daniel John Pye, 36 years old, was convicted in November of 3 counts of traveling in foreign commerce with the purpose of engaging in illicit sexual conduct with the minor. Now, let's continue. A jury finds an Edmund man guilty of 7 counts of engaging in illicit sexual conduct with children in Kenya. That's this guy right here. Like I said, these guys leaving their communities, hopping on flights all across the world, not even across the country, all across the world, traveling, you know, traversing various oceans just to go into some impoverished village just to touch on children. My God, let's continue. According to the evidence at trial, Durham was a volunteer at the Upendo Children's Home located in Kenya. Upendo specializes in assisting neglected Kenyan children by providing them with food, housing, and clothing in school and religion. Evidence showed that between April 2014 and June 2014, Durham traveled from Oklahoma City to Nairobi, Kenya, and while in Kenya, he engaged in illicit sexual conduct with 7 children under the age of 18. Now, let's continue. Next story. A British Airways pilot, Simon Wood, who killed himself in 2013, carried out child attacks during stopovers in Africa. Let's get into it. In Africa, he allegedly molested girls between the ages of 5 and 13 in schools and orphanages in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania between 2003 and 2013. A mother of two of the victims, aged 9 and 16, said that Mr. Simon Wood took them all to Intercontinental Hotel in Nairobi during stopovers in Kenya and showered her children with gifts. The woman said that he would bathe her children and others and also take them out. Mr. Simon Wood had been charged with 1 count of indecently assaulting a girl under 16, 2 counts of making indecent photographs of a child, right, child exploitation material, and 1 count of possessing indecent images of a child, right, possessing and producing child exploitation material. So he was a pilot, and during his stopovers in Africa, he would make stops in Africa to go look for children, right? So that's what he would do in his free time, right? I'm gonna go fly the plane, and when I'm not flying the plane, I'm gonna go to Africa and I'm gonna touch on children, right? And of course, they said that one of the methods that he would use to gain access to children was he would shower the mothers with gifts, right? I think that was the same thing. Like I mentioned, you remember the guy from Montreal who took the girl from Ivory Coast, right? And she was a sex slave in Canada. The way he was able to get access to that girl was because he made friends with the mother, right? He made friends with the mother. He showered the mother with gifts, took the mother out. And of course, our people, you know, we're so colonized in the mind, you know, oh my God, the white man, oh man, the almighty white man. I love the white man, right? So of course, you got your guard down, right? So that's why these guys are leaving their countries, leaving their cities, coming to our countries, coming to our communities, and we have our guard down around them because we don't have these tough conversations about who they are and what they do. But when it comes to us, they always talking about us and what we do and what we don't do, but we never have the tough conversations about them. We never tell the truth about them. And when we do talk about them, it's only the false image presented to us in the propaganda. Oh man, the white man and the white man, this and that. But we never talk about the real deal conversations though. The real conversation. We never have these conversations and they never have these conversations. So that means nobody's having these conversations. And meanwhile, under the table, they're engaging in all type of degenerate and disgusting activity with not only their children, but also our children as well. So listen, if nobody's going to talk about it, that's fine. I'll talk about it, right? I'll talk about it. I'll get the conversation started. And maybe, hopefully, the conservative media propagandists will one day start having the tough conversations amongst their own community, about their own community. And maybe they can finally find some resolutions to the problem. So that way, their children can stop suffering. And also our children can stop suffering also. But anyways, man, I'm not going to be here too long, man.
What's going on, guys? D7 back at you. Want to talk a little bit about what's going on with this Charlie Kirk situation here. They have literally just come out and said that he is the man of steel, as you can see in the title. The surgeon saying that it has to be an absolute miracle, and admitting that the 30-06 round normally just goes through everything. It just keeps going. It goes through multiple things. It just keeps going like we know it does. I showed on the live stream an individual that took a ballistics resin skull that's made for shooting with bullets to show you what will happen. And he hit it with a 30-06 and it blew it to smithereens. The surgeon saying that he found the bullet on Charlie Kirk just beneath the skin. And that literally he's saying it has to be a miracle. He had to have been made of steel, like Superman, is what they are officially saying. Come on, man. Like, anyone that wants to know the truth is definitely looking at the scientific facts, the evidence. Like I said, things like the 30-06 on a ballistic skull, what will really happen. Anyone that shot a freaking gun and shot a 30-06 knows what it'd do. The main problem here is most people have not out there. They're just seeing this and assuming things. And, you know, yeah, there's a lot of argument over a lot of things because there is a lot of crazy stuff connected to this. That's one thing for sure, but I don't think we're going to get anywhere sitting here bickering with one another over the small details. We've got guys, mystery guys out there that still need to be identified and a lot of unanswered questions. One thing's for sure. This is one massive op. And it looks like there's going to be more to come from here. But this is crazy, man. The Man of Steel, huh? That's the latest. Join me for the live stream where I dive down the rabbit hole even further.
Ladies and gentlemen, I now have acquired proof that the FBI's official story is false, whether knowingly or unknowingly. We're going to have an entire monologue and talk about a lot of these things after I show you this. But if you take nothing else away from this video, you need to see this.
And in that video, you can see the same, what appears to be the bullet coming down, and it does line up with the actual gunshot itself.
They're not counting gang violence. Great.
So this video was created by a friend of mine who is a Marine. You'll see him here at the end. This is the angle he is showing the shot coming from, showing where Charlie was sitting and the angle of the shot, which will correspond with this video here, which unfortunately we will blur out Charlie's face, but we will show what is necessary to prove that this was an entry and exit wound. So you'll see him circle the highlighted area right there, and you'll see the exit wound corresponding after, split second after, as it would from an entry and exit wound. So in this footage, you can clearly see that Charlie is shot from his back right, and there's blood splatter coming out of the entry wound immediately after a shot. The first arc is kind of down as if it's just gushing out from the entry wound. And then the second shot corresponds with when his head kind of snaps forward, that fluid then flips up in relation to that motion. So you can see there's that second splatter flipping up into the air. This is something that I hadn't seen to this date. I saw this for the first time late in the evening yesterday, and I decided that this needed to be put out immediately because no one that I know of is talking about this. So big shout out to my friend who actually found this and created this video. You'll see him here in just a moment, but let's just one more time look at this shot. You see bullet comes in that circled area. You have the blood splatter go down, then up, and then immediately after, you see the exit right here with the skin being pierced, and then the exit wound emerges. And again, that is not a far distance for a bullet to travel, whatever the caliber is, whether it be 5.56, 308, 30-06. It's not even a debate at this point. It doesn't matter what caliber killed him. What matters is that the official narrative is not true. Again, whether the FBI knows or not that they're lying, but this is 100% conclusive evidence that Charlie Kirk was shot in the back of the head, and it exited through the front of his throat. All of the evidence points to Charlie being shot from his back right. Now, including this little blood splatter that we can see here against the white backdrop, the extreme hemorrhaging from the front of his neck, which again corresponds with an exit wound, the extreme loss of blood. No matter what the caliber is, that distance, that amount of meat is not enough for most bullets to expand. I mean, 99.9% of bullets will not expand in that short distance. Most of them require 12 to 14 to 16 inches even sometimes of tissue to expand properly. Also, Charlie tensing up correlates and proves that he was hit in his spine. It's a spinal injury. Any of the game that I've shot in the neck or in the high vitals where you impact the spine, the game usually drops right in its tracks because you sever the spinal cord. This is, again, exactly what we see with Charlie. He tenses up. His head movement also correlates with being shot in the back of the head. His head snaps forward, and then he tenses up, and you see him fade away, drop the mic, and was absolutely traumatizing video footage. And I'm sorry to have to show you guys this again, but this needs to be seen and talked about because this is going to be suppressed in the algorithm. So make sure you share this with any of your friends, your family members. Save this video, whatever you need to do. So this video was actually provided to the channel by a friend of mine who is a Marine, and I forgot to show you the end of the video here. So this is my friend who actually made the video. I want to just give him a shout out. I will link his socials down in the description below. Again, he is the one who brought this to my attention. This is his video. He created this. He did the drawings on it, and he sent it to me to allow me to use it to show you guys what we're talking about. So he says, I have been shot many times, 3 times to be exact, and I know exit and entry wounds. I have extensive firearms training inside the Marines and the civilian world as well. It appears that Charlie was shot in the back right side of his head, and the bullet exited through his neck. The moment I saw the video and he tensed up, I thought, that looks like a headshot given the fact that he seized up. It is very common. It is a very common occurrence with a headshot. So this dude, of all people, would know what an entry and exit wound looks like on his own body, literally up close in 4K HD, as they say. So if anyone is qualified to talk about it, it is this dude. He is a super cool guy. So please go ahead and check him out. And I really appreciate him sending me this over, because until he sent this to me, I just hadn't seen anything like it. Now, I wanted to be sure, and I wanted to make sure that wasn't like doctored footage. So I went to one of the original videos that I saw posted the day of Charlie's assassination. And right here, I have it paused where you can see that splash that I'm talking about from the entry wound. And you can see it slowed down. This guy in this video is actually talking about the F in this on his shirt and the ring, some other stuff that really has nothing to do with it. People are arguing about body armor. You could see Charlie's his nipples through his shirt, his chest, his breasts through his shirt, but you can see that he has no body armor on right here. Okay, this would all be one slick piece of plate. It's already been established there's no body armor, so this is actual proof right here. He slowed this video down perfect. You see the blood right here dripping out of his head from the entry wound, and the bullet is coming from here down through here. Okay, hit play, and there it goes. So again, I wanted to confirm the footage I had seen originally was not, in fact, doctored in any way. So you can see it here as well, a little piece down there, and it actually goes up a little bit off frame here from my screen recording. So you can see clearly entry, exit, then, of course, the part we can't show here on YouTube. So irrefutable evidence that he was shot in the back of the head. Clear as day to me. Now, that may be a hard pill for a lot of you to swallow, and without doubt, the non-player characters who just buy into the narrative, as well as the thousands and hundreds of thousands of bots, will likely attack me in this video because I'm showing the truth. I'm going to ask for you guys to share this video so that this word gets out, so that more people can see the truth of what happened to Charlie Kirk. I want to take a look at this photo next. This guy's talking about this bush up here in the top left of this photo, and he zooms in on it, and he's stating that it does look suspicious. It does look suspicious. It looks like there is a person right here, and it looks like there is a rifle right here that the person is holding, a hand here, support hand, sort of very blurry image, but you can clearly make out that this is not just a bush. This is a human skin tone right here, and this correlates with human head and hair and a rifle in the exact kind of crucifix shape of an AR-15 with an optic on it mounted up. So good on this dude for finding this photo and looking for, like he said, hours of going through photos and videos until he saw this. This would 100% line up with the actual shot that we've now proven was not taken from the front, was taken from the back side of Charlie. This would line up exactly with that bullet trajectory and the entry and exit wound that we exhibited, that we saw here on camera. So guys, this is a very heavy topic. I do not want to believe that this is possible, that the FBI either knowingly or unknowingly missed this. And I'll leave that up for you guys to speculate on. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. All I know is that 100% Charlie was not shot from the front. It is very clear that he was shot from the side, most likely by this bush up here, this man in the bush, whatever you want to call him. It has been very clear to me that there have been a lot of NPCs, a lot of people going after me and others who are trying to seek out the truth. And it's so important to not let them silence your voice for Charlie, for this country, really, for the Constitution, for everything that we stand for freedom. It is imperative that we continue to ask questions and seek the truth when we're so clearly being lied to. So I really appreciate all the support that you guys have shown me over the last week in trying to uncover the truth. And all I would ask is for you guys to share this video. Let me know about your thoughts down in the comments below. Please head to BrainJBro.com if you want to support the channel. Check out our merch, all that good stuff. I love every single one of you guys. Christ is King. Drink a lot of water. Stay safe.
Different 50 different investigators on this case, And there are 50 folks that had investigated 9/11 before this. So this is the group that had done the 9/11 forensic work for Senator Johnson. This is Richard Gage's group that I went up to Idaho to present to and then take questions. And this is part of doing real citizen journalism, where you're a week on the ground and collecting all the information, but then you go and you write about it and you put the receipts out on your Substack, and then you put the films out as you're doing the films. But then you have your theory of the case where you're presenting sort of to a jury, and then you stand and deliver. You get cross-examined, and it's not from one prosecuting attorney or one defense attorney. It's from 50 defense attorneys. Thank you. When I go up and go in the cross-examination witness box live in front of people eye to eye, it's 50 different people that were questioning me last night, cross-examining me last night. I just wanted to say that it's interesting that Richard Gage's group, again, all forensics, all science, all melting points, all, timing things with, down to the thousandth of a second. The forensic group up there is really just a very scientific based group of 9/11 researchers. And, but they do forensics for also like the Charlie Kirk murder. And again, standing and delivering like you're an attorney presenting a theory of the case, and then having people, 50 different cross-examining attorneys take shots at you. That's what when I take the weekend off and leave Utah, we stand and deliver in another state with 50 different cross-examining attorneys. So that was last night. We also had a little bit of a debate on the Charlie Kirk murder. We debated, Israel versus not Israel. I said not Israel. I know that's not a popular stance at this point. I said it wasn't. This is interesting. You haven't heard anything. You basically haven't heard anything, although you're ready to come in and make a judgment and an assessment. So I don't find that being very interesting or a very good statement about yourself, right? If you come in and you just make a statement. No, you missed the preamble, which was I not only did the week on the ground and did the all the photos of all the different locations, the shooting, the sniper's perch, the potential second sniper's perch from several different angles. I think 10 different angles. I filmed it, gave it out to the world free. A lot of people took my stuff and didn't credit me. But not only that, but every step along the way along the escape route, right? So how could that possibly be anything other than legwork? How could that be anything but shoe leather, right? But beyond that, then going to all the different locations that were involved with this ROTC program and all the different places where he had Discord conversations and going to all the different armed queer locations and so forth. How could that be anything other than shoe leather, right? And again, when I give the information out to the world, I have my interpretation and events, but that doesn't stop Hustle Bitch from taking my stuff and presenting his angle on it, or anybody. So that's why the videos and the tweets get 1.5 million views, right? Everyone has their own take on the facts. So my point here is the first step of citizen journalism is collect it all before they destroy it. I learned that from Dan Hopsicker in 9/11. Collect it all before they destroy it. And then the second piece to all this is then stand and deliver. Take your theory of the case and then stand and deliver and do it face to face, right? And don't do it just with one person, right? And just say, okay, I'm going to pick out one person where I know the questions and it's going to be pre-formatted. It's going to be kind of like Kamala Harris getting the questions or Hillary Clinton getting the questions. It's not. It's 50 different people standing and delivering, 50 different cross-examiners last night, 50, right? And so we went late into the evening with a cross-examination. People are saying this. My point is that you have all these ad hominem attacks already occurring, right? Remember 50. Remember the number 50. 50 different people cross-examining. Okay, 50. Okay, so people are saying, well, this here, I'm going to smear this person and try to undermine this person over here, right? I'm going to undermine this person over here that you were taking questions from. Oh, I'm going to go after this person. That's why we did so many people last night. That's why we did 50 cross-examiners last night, 50, right? So I want to keep that in mind, that whatever, yeah, Hustle Bitch took my stuff and didn't credit me, but I don't care because I want to put the information out. My point is that you're already having all these character assassins on here this morning trying to take out different people. But that's the reason why we went to the number 50, right? We had 50 cross-examiners last night. And I was completely outnumbered on the Israel question, to be honest with you. And you know, there's a lot of folks, including this person, who says it's Israel, right? So or not. But my point is that when you're outnumbered on Israel, for instance, 50 to 0 to 1 or 2, you know, there's a couple other people that were there. You have to stand and deliver, right? This is the essence of actually taking your case to the people, right? And this is something that no one is doing, right? No one is doing this. Everyone is in this cacophony out there in their own echo chambers with their own followings, right? And they're not doing what Charlie Kirk did, which is actually going out to people with opposing viewpoints and standing and delivering, right? This is all about stand and deliver. If you haven't seen the movie Stand and Deliver, you didn't need to. All you had to do was be there last night, and you saw the standing and delivering. Okay, so we got all this stuff with psyops. How many times did I go to 4 psyops in North Carolina? When I went there, everybody said there's no 4 psyops there in Fayetteville. You've gone there 12 times. There's no such thing as a psyop. Now everybody's saying it's a psyop. So it's interesting. I went to the location where people say the shot was from. I filmed that. I filmed all the locations where people said shots were from. Again, it gave that all to the public domain, and I'm risking my life there. This is a week after the team murdered Charlie Kirk, and they don't want everyone to know where they murdered Charlie Kirk from. So I'm risking my life when I'm going there and doing that. But what I'm saying is I'm not just a week in Utah. As soon as I get out of Utah, I stand and deliver with 50 cross-examiners last night. So again, you have all the kinds of ad hominem attacks already this morning on the people where we stood and delivered. But it is what it is. We're the only group that is doing that, right? We're the only group. No, it wasn't a space. It was. I went up to see Richard Gage in Utah. So that's what Charlie Kirk did. Charlie Kirk went into these universities that were woke, where he was completely surrounded, right, by people who didn't agree with him. And he said on the thing where the day he died, it said, "Prove me wrong," right? And so that's what I was trying to do, is trying to change minds about the assassination. So anyway, that's the preamble. So we've had massive attacks already, where people are saying, I try to undermine the people that were there that night. But do you know all 50 people who were there? Can you undermine all 50 people that were cross-examining me last night? You can't, right? So again, my point is not necessarily to argue this case right now. I want to get into what I wrote yesterday, and I'll come back to this after we come with the safe house. Put anything that you want me to run down. We're taking a brief break from Utah. Just first of all, I wanted to get the information out before I got Charlie Kirk. So every once in a while you leave to get the information out, and then you go back. But you don't want to lose everything from the first week. So you go back and you stand and deliver to the 50 cross-examiners, and then you go back, right? So that's what we're in the process of doing. So anything you want me to go back and look at, we'll go there. And again, we want to create a record as we go, because if we get the Charlie Kirk, we want the information that we've collected up until that day to be out there in the public record. If that's my last day. Okay, so that's the strategy here. So I want to go into the what I wrote yesterday, and I had said this in the podcast in the morning. I got up at 2 and delivered the podcast, right? And this is the case I made last night to the group of 50. But basically, what the big idea here is a Utah Contra. You saw Iran Contra, which was really Arkansas Contra. It was guns being made in Arkansas being flown to Central America to the Contras, and then the Contras sending back cocaine bricks. So it should have been called Utah Contra. And what you need in that case is a governor who will allow the plane to land and bring the drugs in to pay for the guns. And that's all it is. So it has nothing to do with Iran. They added that on later to confuse you that it wasn't about Arkansas. The only thing that's changed in this case from Bill Clinton and Mena, Arkansas being the place where, and Barry Seal being the pilot, the only thing that's changed in this case is Spencer Cox is the governor, right? The plane is a jet now versus Barry Seal flying the turboprop, right? That's the only thing that's changed in this case. And people don't want to think this is this man's connection, Tyler Robinson's connection and his father's connection from 27 years in the Washington County police department or sheriff's department in St. George. But remember, we're in St. George. We're publishing the video of the streets of St. George on the 10th. That's closing in. That's pretty specific, right? When Kash Patel's on stage saying, we have no idea who the murderer is. So we're publishing the pictures of St. George. We're lurking in the streets of St. George, right? And the killer and the killer's father, who are both associated with this program, are seeing that. And they're saying, maybe it's better we turn you in. We'll queer all the evidence. We'll have a missing bullet. We'll have introduce grandpa's gun, which won't be the right gun. We know you fired a blank to trigger things off, sort of like a starter pistol for the operation. We'll add all these queer text messages in. We'll queer the prosecution. We'll have you turn in. Well, then we'll have you bid or enter a plea of not guilty, and then we'll queer the prosecution. We're the cops after all, right? We're going to cover this up just like Bill Clinton covered this up by changing the name of Arkansas Contra to Iran Contra. We're going to queer it, right? And they literally queered it. The people that they're saying he's trading these messages with is all queers. And again, she's Iranian. So there's so many parallels here. But the big idea here is the supply chain has a student ID. The supply chain has a student ID. You see Tyler here, his dad's connected to this operation, looking the other way in this operation. This plane that flies for 2.5 hours without its transponder on, leaving at 6:53. You can see he's got his Dairy Queen in his hand from 6:35 or 6:38, right? The timing here is all put together. And I think everyone would agree, if we can prove that Tyler takes his Dairy Queen at 6:38, again, 1.5 million hits. We went and confirmed it with 3 different citizen journalists. If he gets on that plane at 6:53 or 6:54, depending on which timing you believe, it's not Tyler acting as a lone gunman. Most lone gunmen don't have a jet, a Bombardier to jump on. And if he gets on that plane, it's a conspiracy. Pure, plain and simple. Pure, plain and simple. If Tyler gets on that plane at 6:53 at Provo Airport, it's a conspiracy. It's a team. It's an assassination team. If Tyler gets on that plane, I think you would agree. What would a cosmetics company, front company, concealer company, cover company, right? What possible interest would they have in protecting and harboring a person who just committed a murder? They would have no interest in doing that, right? The supply chain has a student ID. Why does the supply chain have a student ID? Why does the drug plane have a student ID? Because students are the #1 consumers, right? They want Adderall, they're partiers, right? Once you get them started, on the harder stuff, the Oxycontin or whatever it is, or sports injuries, or the fentanyl and the fentanyl patches and so forth, or worse, carfentanil, or mix the meth in there too. Once you get them started, you hook them for life, right? This is customers for life, and they're all in one place, right? That's why UVU being the largest university, 50,000 students. That's why Utah State, where Charlie was. That's why Utah Tech, where St. George is, right? I'm not saying that there aren't other customers. There are. That's why you have a cosmetics multi-level marketing company. That's why Amway had Amway with Blackwater, right? There's a lot of other places other than universities where people are consuming drugs, right? That's why the Unique Plane is the fastest growing corporation in America that you've never heard of. But this is the case, right? This is the case for conspiracy right here in one picture. The supply chain has a student ID, all right? So we're going to go through that quickly. We'll come back, starting with using Karmadoc's comment here. I'll definitely go to the, if you send me the address, Karmadoc, I'll definitely go to the house. I'll go to all the houses, and we'll take it from there. So I'll come back to the messages in a second, but I want to get to the Substack, which I put out yesterday, which is the supply chain does have a student ID, right? Based on the Investigative podcast, the plane is the alibi, right? Because they turned the transponder off. Why would they turn the transponder off for a 2 hour and 13-minute flight? Why would they turn the transponder off for a 2 hour and 13-minute flight that leaves Provo and then comes back 2.5 hours later? Why would they turn the transponder off for a 2.5 hour flight? This semester, the midterm is the survival. You see the movie poster here. This semester, the midterm is survival, right? And there it is. Anonymous Films presents Utah Contra. And there it is for people who are doubting, right? There it is. There's Monkey Works talking about it. There's the flight, 6:54. It leaves Provo. And then it returns to Provo, right? It returns to Provo 2 hours and 13 minutes later without the transponder on. We've had the CEO come on and say, I took earlier flights in the day. Nobody's talking about the earlier flights in the day. We're talking about the Dairy Queen flight. Right? We want to dust the plane for Dairy Queen fries. We want to dust the plane for the Blizzard Cup, the Superman Blizzard promotion. Right? We want to dust the plane for the Brazier Burger. Right? That's what we want to get the plane for. Right? So this isn't speculation. This isn't supposition. This is hardcore reporting. This is Monkey Works. This is the transponder. Again, it's very much like Dan Hopsiker and the Venice airport, where there's nobody on the tower. Remember Bob Dylan saying all along the watchtower? Well, they weren't all along the watchtower. This is Bob Dylan singing they weren't along the watchtower, right? This is Bob Dylan actually singing they weren't along the watchtower. There's no watchtower there. This is perfect for the drug running signature. So in the sky, on the ground, the ledger always lands. And this is how we got Al Capone, if you remember. It's the ledger, right? It's going to be all the receipts coming in, all the money coming in through all the Chinese foundations, the foundations from Israel, all the different money coming into the money plane, the Kellogg Foundation, all the money coming into the money plane. That's going to how you have to follow this case, right? The Soros NGOs with the money coming into the Unique Corporation. That's how you have to deal with this. If you're Kash Patel, right? Then that's what we do, right? There you see him. There you see him making the mad dash with the Brazier Burger and the Superman Blizzard, right? From the Dairy Queen 638. He's falling all over bullets as he's going there. There's missing bullets. They can't find one bullet, right? But he's falling all over bullets trying to make the plane by 6:54, and he has to actually jump over Charlie Kirk's coffin to get there. Right, you can see it right in front of you. There is the picture that shook the world. We had one definition of events, and then we put this out and we verified it with 3 different citizen journalists. Again, we did the on-the-ground work. We also did 3 levels of AI to make sure that of verification, make sure this poster, the Superman poster, was still there, and the timestamps. And we were the ones who, as citizen journalists, our group, delivered on the verification. Without this, This is an interesting factoid. With the citizen journalism verification, it changes the whole story. It blows a hole in the timeline. Look at the timeline. Look at it blowing up. See the timeline. See it blowing up. This blows up the timeline. This blows up the story of him driving the gray Dodge Challenger back. Where's the flock camera showing the Dodge Challenger going back to Utah? If he goes back on the plane, it's a conspiracy. This is like, if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit. If he gets on that plane at 6:54, it's a conspiracy, right? If they can't show the Dodge Challenger being driven by him back with timestamps, it's a conspiracy, right? And this is the citizen journalism thing that broke the case. This picture right here is the citizen journalism piece that broke the case. This is like seeing Joe Biggs throw the gates, right? At the Orange Hats at J6, while Donald Trump's still speaking for another 20 minutes a mile away. This blows the whole story, right? This blows the whole Nancy Pelosi J6 concoction. This blows the whole conspiracies story. If we can show, we haven't yet, we can show that Brazier Burger and that Superman Blizzard getting on that plane at 6:54, it's all over but the shouting. It's all over but the shouting. So you see here the parallels, and of course he's running from one crime board to the other, right? And there's so many parallels in these two cases between Utah Contra and Iran Contra. It's not even funny. There's a lot of parallels with the Crooks investigation. There's a lot of parallels with the JFK assassination, but the use of ROTC and compromising people in ROTC to get guns out of these various stores, these different places where guns are locked up, and getting people to steal guns in order to trade that for drugs. That's a signature here. Using student organizations, front organizations, social justice warrior organizations to be the downline distributors to the students. In this case, it's all queers. That was the downline distribution leg to the students, right? And then also this multi-level marketing concept where we had with Blackwater, and how to launder all the monies coming from the major metropolitan areas for the sales of drugs. You have the same thing going on in Utah Contra. Again, very dangerous work. Dan Hopsiker went, I think it was over 2 years after the kids died on the railroad. 2 years to Mina after the kids died on the railroad in Mina, right? This is 2 days. Our stuff, I mean, GW here. This is 2 days after this. Okay, this isn't 2 years later going to visit the kids died on the tracks in Mina. This is 2 days, and that's being there for a length of almost a week, right? And then standing and delivering at the end of the week. Okay, so there's a lot of parallels here, and I did present this case last night, and I was cross-examined by 50 different people. There you have it. It's all about Dairy Queen. It's all about bullets. It's all about missing autopsies. It's all about closed casket versus open casket. It's all about multi-level marketing. It's all about ROTC compromise. It's all about student organizations like Armed Queers to sell the drugs to the students. That's it in a picture, right? That's it in a picture. So there you see him. Again, bullets everywhere you look if you know where to look. Bullets nowhere to be found. Magic bullets nowhere to be found if you're looking in all the wrong places. Looking in all the right places and starting with the plane is the key to cracking the case. And that requires going to all the various parts here. Now, I was going to do a part 2 and show all the connections, but I just thought for this, for yesterday, just to put out the the basics of the case, and then now argue part 2, which is we've done a whole bunch more research. The 27 years of his father as a deputy sheriff, they changed it to saying now I do countertops. Well, yeah, we better retire you before the assassination of Charlie Kirk and make you go into countertops, because it's not going to look good if you're the son of a sheriff, right? And the son of a sheriff shoots Charlie Kirk. Okay, so that's research we've done. We've also done research on how he got into the ROTC program to begin with Uncle Mikey Robinson. There's also a Mikey Robinson that does cadet to cadet. Cadet to cadet is a program of introducing ROTC cadets in the United States to Ukrainian ROTC cadets, right? There's also, he runs Radio Free Ukraine. He runs the Fallen Cossack. Remember Christopher Steele doing the Cossack dance in Ukraine, right? He runs the Fallen Cossack group. He also runs the Azov Brigade. He's the key interface to the Azov Brigade, right? So there's this constant thread in all the recent assassinations to Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. And this is the point I tried to make last night. It's that the Ukraine money that we're sending, the money to Ukraine that's bouncing back, that's being funded, that's through and laundered through Soros NGOs for Antifa, right? That's where the money is coming from. It's coming from Ukraine. And if you don't get that critical Ukraine choke point, you don't know where to choke the monster, right? If you keep saying it's just George Soros and it's not coming from the money we're sending to Ukraine, and you're not calling out Kolomoisky as the one diverting 57% of the money going to Ukraine, you can't stop the monster. And we've been talking about that for 8 years. So we'll go back to Karmadoc, and we'll go back to we'll work our way backwards here in the comments. I'll just start with the most recent comment. Let's see, Ron Peterson claiming he still dropped the gun in the woods. Yes, I think they basically say, how could we queer the investigation? Well, how about Grandpa's gun? We know Grandpa's gun will make it look like you're a lone assassin with a 30-06. The big mistake, if they would have fired that 30-06, it would have, the white canvas behind Charlie Kirk would be red, right? Now this morning they're trying to say his body stopped that round. We showed you the coffee can size hole that it put in a deer. So this is the critical mistake, right? You think, hey, I got a great idea to make you look like a lone assassin, Tyler. We'll give you Grandpa's gun. That sounds like a great idea until you remember, oh, wait a minute, eventually it's going to hit Charlie. When it hits Charlie, it should have a coffee can size hole out the other side. And it's not going to make a coffee can size hole. And it's not going to make red all over the back white canvas. And we're going to have a real problem. But they didn't think about that when they were trying to make him look, putting a blank in his gun, right? He's basically the starter pistol. Tyler's basically the starter pistol for the events to start, right? And you're going to see that he didn't fire a bullet. He fired a starter pistol, basically, a starter shotgun. You've heard of these golf course tournaments they call a shotgun start. Exactly the same round. You're going to find it's exactly the same round. The spent round is for the same one they fire for the shotgun start. Jesus warned. Yeah, we talked a lot about last night. We talked about it. You know, I told everybody there. I'm with the. He's a very good friend of mine. We've done a lot of stories together. But Casey Whalen, you know, took the kind of the pro-Israel or anti-Israel point of view, and his lovely co-researcher. She made a very strong statement against Israel, and I said, "Hey, we did the Shoah Foundation, 52,000 Stories of the Holocaust. We did with Janice Meyer and Nathan Meyer the story of Israel, you know, a birth of Israel. So you can imagine there's 50 on one on this here, and we did the. I do a show with the Super Jew. I let everybody know that, you know, in the talk." And I basically tried to convince the group that this isn't Bibi Netanyahu. Ackman threatening and having the big fight with Charlie Kirk as a big donor. We went through all the major donors of Israel, the Harvard Foundation that Epstein was involved in being a donor of Charlie Kirk, and Ackman being all these folks that were all Mossad, you know, Bronfman connected people that were donors of Charlie Kirk. And I just said, I don't think he did it. The reason he did it is because they want to stop the Ukraine war. And cut funding to the Ukraine war. And these people at Azov depend on that money. And so that's the case I made. It was 50 against 2. So, but we stood and delivered. So let me go back to Karmadoc and go through the comments sequentially, and that way maybe I'll catch up. And I'm sorry if the comment might have spoiled here. In the meantime, preparation is everything in prance in advance, trade for the masses. Exactly. But again, you look at the big mistakes. Why would you plant Grandpa's gun? Why would you plant Grandpa's 30-06? You know that's going to end up being a problem, right? You know that should have put a coffee can size hole into Charlie Kirk. That's going to be a problem, right? Now maybe they're counting on that to queer the prosecution, but that to me says it's a shotgun start. It's a starter pistol for the operation. He gets on the plane, by the way, and we're done. It's a conspiracy. Is the investigation has been queered? The entire investigation has been queered. Yeah, they've added the armed queers to try to throw everyone off on that. It's a drug distributor organization on campus. It's run by an Iranian Hezbollah. The other person who runs it is a Mujahideen, Charlie Mujahideen. And then Urmaya is the Iranian person. It has nothing to do with queers. It's all about selling drugs on campus. The entire investigation has been queered. Fox charades for the masses. Great explanation. The DS stock reposted. Thank you so much. Research Chip Tatum. Not only have a research Chip Tatum, I can't. We did his book. We read his book with Bob Mueller, about Bob Mueller. We did so many things on Iran Contra. We covered all of his videos. We did extensive work on Iran Contra with Chip Tatum and also Barry Seal. Dan Hopsiker lived with Barry Seal's widow after he died. Dan Hopsiker had a deep relationship, didn't marry her, but had a deep relationship with Barry Seal's widow. So this is deep research here. This isn't kind of we're something I read on a blog. In the amount of effort and research we've done in Iran Contra with Gary Webb, Michael Rupert, etc., is we followed all of Gary Webb's leads. I've interviewed a person who was in Rick Ross's L.A. Crack cocaine distribution network. He was my barber, actually. He was the only guy out of the gang that didn't die. Right? He served 12 years in prison, something like that. And that's who's cutting my hair every week. And a black haircut takes a lot longer than a white haircut. White haircut's about 20 minutes. A black haircut's about an hour. Because that's just how it is. That's our culture, So we talk about the whole Rick Ross thing for an hour in Washington, D.C. Right? He was the leg. He was the Washington, D.C. leg for Rick Ross in Iran Contra. Right? So we would talk for about an hour. He said many times he had $1 million under his floorboard in cash in his garage. Okay. So when I'm talking about research, I'm talking about, first of all, the guy who's done 12 years time in Rick Ross's organization. He's the one with the razor behind me. Right. So at any time, it could be my last day. That's how I did my research on Iran Contra, right? Up close and personal with the guy who didn't get killed in the gang, and he's got a razor behind me. Okay. That's how I did my research on Iran Contra. So let's see. Thanks for the update. Yeah, Charlie Kirk was shot from the front or to the right of him. Yeah, it's going to be the right, but that's okay. They're trying to make it to the left. They're trying to say that's an entry wound now. It's clumsy. But yes, it's what they want to do is create as much alternate theories as possible and say, look at these crazy conspiracy theorists. And this is why we went and stood and delivered to a group of 50, because it's getting everybody together, right, in a consortium, in a conference, in a news gathering conference that gets people to consensus. It takes the cacophony of 50 people running wildly into the street, screaming into the night, and brings them all into the same room, into a conference, into a tightly organized conference. Cosmetics could be Zionist. Yeah. There's definitely some concealer involved in this case. Definitely some concealer involved in this case. So what's up with the wife's G-ring? Well, we'll just leave that there for people to comment on. 9/11, yeah. Again, we don't get involved into, well, here's a narrative that I came up with for 9/11. Let me see how I can retool that now for Charlie Kirk, because I'd like to juice my 9/11 book, right? We're not doing that. We're going there, burning shoe leather, okay, night in, night out, starting at the crack of dawn, sometimes before, and going until dark, right? Collecting the evidence not collecting our past musings about 9/11, right? Not trying to retool, not trying to repurpose, not trying to rehash, right? That's why we went to a group that was forensically based. Okay, that's a forensically based. The people are saying, you know, attacking Richard Gage. You can see how fast the building collapses, right? It's as fast as gravity almost. It's almost a free fall. You could have a kid with a stopwatch timing 50-yard dashes. That's all you need. I just stood and delivered last night. I just stood and delivered last night in Idaho, and where I'm staying, I just saw a bald eagle catch a fish, and then he did a circle. He did a victory circle right in front of me to show me his fish. There he goes again. That's amazing. You don't see that in Utah. Well, you probably do see it in Utah. I just didn't see it in Utah. Anyway, it's sort of like one of those, it kind of reminds me of Odysseus, where you got it. It was almost like a little sign from God. You're on it with the plane. You nailed it, right? That was kind of a little God shot there. Like, you nailed it, right? We nailed it. Our researchers nailed it with the plane. Slip and slide, please. Yeah, we'll get the slip and slide out. Everybody wants to ride the slip and slide. We'll get the slip and slide out here in a second. Heard Tyler's family goes to Cavalry St. George. The U.S. Marshal is from there. Okay, fair enough. You heard he's not LDS. He's Calvary Chapel. Okay. Right. That's good. We probably should follow that lead up. Yeah. Yeah, he was in law enforcement. They're covering that up. I explained that yesterday. So I said they did that a month before this, 27 years, you're going to find. So it's a cheap cover up. So there you go. There we got their first slip and slide for the day. Let's see. Cosmetic company attached the equipment to the neck to make it look ultra real. Oh, you're saying that the cosmetic company might have done a little bit. Yeah, Albert Pike wrote a book 100 years ago, but we're not here. We're not really here to retool and try to create relevance for Albert Pike, right? That's not our objective. What we're here to do is collect the evidence, right? And so a lot of this, like I say, there's a lot of people who say, I want to retool my book that I did for this. I want to retool my book that I did for that. Well, we just don't do that. We don't have that. We don't have that motive, right? Our motive here is to get to the truth, right? So if you want to retool something, that's all well and good and wonderful, but it's not why we're here, right? Not why we're here. The accident of C. Okay, let's see. Unique multi-level marketing, Boston. Look into the company. Savvy that opened out in Utah. I went to an event out there. It's absolutely a cult. I've heard this last night. In a group of 50, we had 25 women. None of them had heard of Unique. One person had heard of Unique for a while, and they basically said they were trying to get you to buy a big upfront package and said you're going to make all this money because the demand would be so high for this triple thick eyelash, and basically nobody wanted it, right? And they ended up having to eat their $3,000, and basically they go into poor neighborhoods and then they try to sell people on the ones that they do sell. I think that's a downline for drugs in major metropolitan areas, but they mainly their main sales people are African American women, right? And they try to sell them on the idea that they're going to be rich. And they sell them this pre-package. They have to loan money from all their friends to get the $3,000 or $4,000, something like that, and then they can't sell it. Right? And they try to stiff them with this, and this is how they're making their money. The same way, and they say, "Well, you can't pay off your thing." Well, we have other ways. We have other ways that you can pay off your initial investment. So it is sort of a cult. Yeah, we go right to the Monkey Works information. I'm sorry, but I'm not an expert in this stuff, but he is. So we go right to the monkey work stuff and we quote and we give attribution to the experts. That's just the way it is. We're not going to the second level, third level, fourth level people with comments or whatever. We go straight to the top. We go straight to the monkey works, right? He does all the flight aware stuff. He's the expert. He's got hundreds of thousands of followers, and we go straight to the best of the best. Let's see. I own a troop of teens for plasma rejuvenation. That's pretty funny. Savvy opened right after Unique was nothing. Savvy started after COVID, and I swear it's an LDS cult. I've never heard of Savvy before, but it sounds again like one of these things that for money laundering. I hate to say it, it sounds like money laundering. Did someone take a flight out of an open airplane door? I'm not sure what that means. You have to open a door to the plane to get on the plane. So what we want to do is we want to dust the plane for DNA, and the team, it makes a lot of flights that day. That plane makes 3 flights that day, back and forth to the Navajo Indian reservation, right? Page, Arizona is right on the opening gate. And then worse yet is they have a foundation called Navajo Strong, right? Tell me that's not a money laundering operation. But what are they doing, right? Sell cosmetics, but now you're into Navajo Indian reservations with Casino Jack Abramoff. Can it get more CIA? Can it get more drugs and weapons? Is there any way possible this could look more like Iran Contra, right? Without being Iran Contra. And remember, Iran Contra shouldn't have been called Iran Contra. It should have been called Arkansas Contra. And the only change here is the state. The only change here is the governor. The only change here is Spencer Cox. What is up with the 3 balloons over the Native American grounds? I think that's so the plane can find the landing strip. I think that's so the plane can find the landing strip. People are saying is the proof just posters? No, I showed the monkey works. It is what it is. You can go after monkey works too if you want, but I'm just telling you that that's not going to be the constant ad hominem attacks are going to get old and tiresome after a while. You're going to get old and tiresome. People want the answers to this. This is bigger than Kennedy assassination for this generation. And if you're under 40, this is the biggest assassination in your time. Trump didn't get killed. This is Charlie Kirk getting killed. This is the precursor to Trump getting killed. Maybe at the funeral today, they better have good security. We have a mall cop for all the recommendations we made in Butler, right? Saying, hey, a mall cop stops this, grandmother with caution tape, a kid with a drone, a Walmart cop stops this, a Girl Scout with a dog stops this, with a German Shepherd stops this. Can we have a little bit of security this time for the funeral today, where we have all these conservatives coming in? Can we please? Let's see. Where are the flight manifests? Well, I think the idea, again, I quote Monkey Works, right? The thing is, for a private plane, I don't need to say who got on and who got off, right? There is for public flights, and that's the whole idea of taking a private plane. And why turn the transponder off for a 2-hour and 13-minute flight? Why? The Salamander bombings is a book about the SLC bombings in the 80s to show what investigators are up against. Yeah, we have the people that are in charge of law enforcement destroying the evidence here, right? We have people involved 27 years in Washington County law enforcement saying I do countertops, right? I'm just saying what we're up against, and I'm one guy unarmed, right? And people making noise outside my hotel room all night long. And it sounds like people are racking an SKS, but I don't know what an SKS racking. Well, I do. Actually, I've visited a few folks that have a few of those, and it sounds a lot like it. And I don't know if that's an intimidation tactic to rack the SKS outside your hotel room door all night at all hours of the night to try to intimidate you. But that's what we're up against here, right? I'm just saying that's what we're up against. We're up against law enforcement being a part of this. Okay, that's why they're.
Coffee. Follow me.